What the actual hell is that? Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a special edition of the Shills Pub Chat tonight as we're simulcasting with the man who handed Flat Earth Hero his absolute ass in the challenge of the flight paths. It's MC Toon. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm glad to do this simulcast. What a fun idea this is to do it on both. So if you don't know what's going on, this is happening at the same time on the iNetwork, and I'm going to drop the link to that in the chat. Maybe you want to watch both at the same time and see if there's any discrepancies. Should be working, right?
Yeah, because some of us may be lying our asses off in the backside, and they wouldn't. No, it's just kidding. It's the same stream on both sides, and we're going to dive into this and have a blast. So how about we get around the table and see who all here? Barman, you're the host with the most. Take us around, buddy.
All right, Shell, you would ask me just I'm running out of beer. Going, beer. Oh, well. We'll see who's here. I'm here, obviously. Yay! Who else we got here? Everybody in space whose name I always get perfectly right, obviously, because that's actually his name. How are you doing?
I wish it had kept the camera on me the whole time. I've just been staring into it there. Yeah, I'm here. I'm doing good. I don't have too much to say except that I'm here and will lend my voice to the discussion as needed.
Awesome. Amy, you're joining us this evening. How are you doing? What's going on with you?
I am doing great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be a good discussion that we're having. And if necessary, I will make sure that Super Chats with Matthew get read. And what else are we talking about, Maddie?
Fake news.
That's right. So we'll read the Super Chats and we'll chime in if necessary. How's that?
All right.
Good to me. Salim, you're joining us this evening as well from the MC Toon side. How are you doing?
Yep, lovely to be with you today. I'm one of what's often called one of McToon's braying mindless supporters, here to ineptly cheer him on with his insidious message of pro-industry shilling. That's me.
Nice. Absolutely love it. And obviously, MC Toon's here because we've already said hello to him. But hello, Toon.
Hello, everybody. Let me say, if any super chats, do it over on the iNetwork channel, please. I won't accept any on my channel tonight.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
What a guy. You got to love him.
I appreciate your hosting this.
Oh, doing this is such a great thing. And I have a feeling that there might be avenues for some more cool stuff along this vein in the future. But let's get through one, right? So, MC Toon, why don't you take everybody through the little adventure you had and where we are?
All right. Well, I do, in addition to Flat Earth debates that I do live pretty much every week, I do stuff on 5G and how it's basically the same as 4G and the safety of it. And you got a lot of people that think that 5G is going to kill everybody, even though when you ask them what is the part of 5G that's harmful, they always don't know. So there's one in particular, Sally Beer, who has a somewhat large Facebook group that is against 5G, trying to stop 5G everywhere, but especially, where she lives in Bristol. And so I did a video on her, a scripted video. It was just under 30 minutes long, one of my longest ones. It was fun to make, got some really good reception. And I think Sally did not like it because yesterday morning I got a community guidelines strike claiming that that the video gave out false information on COVID-19 vaccinations. Funny thing is that video doesn't address the topic of COVID-19 or vaccinations at all. It's strictly about 5G. The only parts of it that aren't me are some rather short clips of Sally talking. So if there's any community guidelines issues, it's most likely Sally's. Anyway, so that was yesterday. So yesterday morning, I'm like, well, that's silly. So I put in an appeal saying I didn't cover that. Basically, just like 2 sentences, and it came back later in the day as we reviewed it and still stuck with our decision. Like, that's really weird because you categorized it completely wrong. So I wrote a much longer appeal, including links to the 2 videos that I got them from. So if it was not my part where I was not talking about COVID or vaccinations, and if instead they didn't like the little clips that were from Sally talking, I'm like, well, these 2 videos are currently hosted on YouTube still. So I'm thinking like, well, if you don't like those parts of my video, you certainly would not like her videos. Anyway, that was last night, and this morning I was rewarded with a removal of the community guidelines strike, and the video's back up, and it is trending nicely again. So thank you very much I got a lot of people. So I didn't make a big deal of it. It wasn't like I wasn't really concerned. Worst thing is that video doesn't go up, and I can re-record it in separate parts or something. But I did put it on Facebook. If you find my page on Facebook, it's actually a page, MC Toon, on Facebook. Pop over there, find it, watch it on there, or find my page, whatever you want. So that's the overview. But there's some more interesting twists to this, because I suspected, many of us suspected, that what was happening was that Sally did not like the video and asked some of her cohorts to go and report it, because Sally is a petitioner. That's what she does. She whines and complains and asks to talk to your manager. You might pick a different name other than Sally, but the haircut even matches. Maybe doesn't match. I don't know. So I had suspected that she had sent some of her friends to do that. I could only guess, though, at the time. I did not see anything on her Facebook group mentioning it, as if it didn't exist. I know that some people posted links to it and even did posts to it that were not accepted. I don't know. She doesn't welcome dissension. She purifies her echo chamber. So that's the overview. The video's back up. I'll drop a link to it. Go watch it again, just to, poke at Sally.
I definitely recommend that when we're done here, that is, because it's a very, very good way. Knowing what has happened and going back and watching the video will really make you go, what the heck? How did this happen? How did we get here? Actually, I'm pretty sure I know how this happened, and I want to get into some of the technology behind it and, how we're dealing. This is much more of a software developer's issue when you go through the initial steps of the YouTube and the way it works. And this is one thing I really want to get into here coming up. So now there's also been some other people in the community like Irish Demon and whatnot that have had some problems. And I do believe that Demon's problem and your problem are very, very different.
Yeah, I agree. I try to be really careful. I don't. Yeah. My scripted videos never have swearing in it. I can't control guests on my channel too much, so sometimes they do. But my scripted ones don't have that. I'm like, I don't need to. I can do everything I do without violating any of YouTube's terms and conditions. There's no problem there, and have all the fun I want. So, and when it comes to things like COVID and vaccinations, I'm completely in agreement with YouTube. So I don't have any concerns about running against their statements on those things. So, but yeah, Irish Demon, he's not quite the same. You gotta love the guy, but for sure. He's like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if it violates their terms, then he's going to run the edge of that.
Yeah, we do that on iNetwork as well. I mean, on the Shills and whatnot, we get pretty rough at times, right? But it's mostly done in the name of humor. I get a little bit rough at times, but we're not talking about that. So, so let's take a look here at how YouTube gets to the situation where where you ended up in trouble, right? So, YouTube has this is how I'm looking at this, and I think this applies as well to Demons. So YouTube has the closed captioning that every video gets. So they already have a text transcript of your video. So what happens is a couple of people can put in a flag, and the YouTube algorithm will go and look through the text. And the text does not say who's talking, who isn't talking, and so on. It just sees the words, boom, tune gets a flag. Now, second step is human review. So what does the human review do in the first step? Now, I'm guessing at this point, but I've done some tech support for call centers and whatnot, so I kind of think that I have an educated opinion maybe. But what would happen is they would get an alert on their system, and it would ask them to check 3 or 4 timestamps that match what the computer algorithm already caught as vocalizations in your video that say things you're not supposed to. So what happens? The human goes 2:15. Yep, I heard that. 7 minutes. Yep, I heard that. 12 minutes. Yep, I heard that. Do they check to see if you're actually speaking or if the person you're debunking is speaking? No. All they do is confirm that the information that was flagged by the bots is correct. So you lose your first appeal. Now you put in your second appeal, and you get an actual human that puts context into things and goes, oh, oops, sorry, and your video's back up. What do you think there, MC Toon? Am I kind of onto something here?
Yeah, definitely. So I write anti-spam software, and there is going to be a good overlap between, identifying something that's spam in an email and identifying something that's violates your terms of service in a video. In the end, right? Because they just convert everything to text in the email, or not the email, in the video. It's just a textual analysis, and you say, all right, well, here's bad, here's bad, here's bad, and you educate your filter. You say these are examples of bad things, and here's examples of good things, and it's gonna go off of keywords. This is a rather simplistic way of saying it, of going over this kind of just basic Bayesian filtering, but it's gonna score a video based on this is this, and even categorize it based on those types of things. It's artificial intelligence. And yeah, it doesn't, though, know who's speaking. Now, when Google first started their email filtering, it's people in my industry kind of have heard and read about how Google did their early filtering. It was a lot of it based on input from users. So and they had a lot of users, and they had an instant feedback. So if a bunch of users deleted a message or marked it as spam, and they're able to identify similar messages, they say, oh, well, all of these messages are likely to be spam, so we're going to delete any future ones. Plus, we're going to reach back and we're going to delete the ones that we've already delivered to mailboxes but haven't been read yet. It's a good system. It worked well. The thing is, though, the people that receive the spam have a selfish reason to mark it as spam. Just for themselves. They only see it for themselves. When you go to YouTube, you can have people with malicious intent saying, well, we want to report this. So the same system, though, is going to get these identifiers and maybe flag it incorrectly or respond incorrectly, saying, well, lots of people said this was bad. We'll call it bad, without having any person involved. And it's frustrating. But you got to know, right? If you look at the number of videos, there's no way there's enough labor to review all these things. They have to do things in software. And since about a year ago, with all these things that have been happening, there's been a huge increase in people saying all sorts of craziness and attributing all sorts of things that are definitely wrong to the current situation in the world. So how do you identify that then? Well, more labor? No, you can't just throw more labor at it. It's already overwhelming. It's a fire hose. So it has to be software. So I understand their challenge. I don't envy the challenge they have. But it's still broken.
It works pretty well though, doesn't it? Because some good outcomes have happened. Mark Steele, no longer on YouTube. Kate Chemirani, no longer on YouTube. Some of the worst people, some of the most dangerous misspeakers that we've had the displeasure of listening to, they're just not on the platform anymore. And I'm kind of happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
The attempt to stifle McToon has failed. Maybe it wasn't plain sailing, but the system worked this time, I think, as much as it's imperfect.
How much do you think comes down to, on the odd occasion, you do get a real-life person reviewing your video? One, how much they understand from the context of your video, whether they've also got a sense of humor looking at some people's videos, and two, how long into their shift they are, and whether they're at the point of passing caring, just going, yeah, you can go, because I'm 5 minutes from the end of my shift. I've done 3,000 videos today. You can all naff off now.
Well, Barman, I think you bring up a really good point, because apparently there's a documentary that came out recently that looks at some of the content moderation behind Facebook and YouTube. I think it's called The Cleaners. And I haven't seen it yet, but it describes the people who do that work. It describes that as being very sweatshop-like, that those people are very rushed, very like a lot on their shoulders. And so they do end up just kind of skimming a lot of content and not doing as thorough a job as they potentially could.
Mm-hmm. You do feel like they're going to say, right, on this shift, you need to do 300 videos. Regardless of how long the videos are and how much time you might need to spend looking at them, they're just going to say, no, this is your total you've got to do. It's like, well, it's impossible. You're going to burn me out. Well, tough.
Can you imagine sitting down and having the majority of the stuff you're going to be looking at is pretty despicable, and saying, all right, here's 5 seconds of a video. You get to decide whether or not this is good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done with that 5 seconds, you have another 5 seconds and another 5 seconds. And here's 7 seconds of a different video. And they're all out of context. So you have to, in that little bit you get, I mean, maybe there's extra in front or behind, but that little bit you get, there's no way. There's no way. It's so hard.
No.
I suppose that there's a lesson here, isn't there? We have to expect our content to be taken out of context, and so when you quote somebody who's saying a bad thing, we're going to have to put something on the screen that says, this is Mark Steele talking nonsense, just so anyone judging the entire video based on a 5-second clip, it isn't going to judge it by that clip out of context.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Then that's what I've decided I have to do. I hope it works, because I continue. I'm not done with Sally, right? And these other people that are petitioners. So yeah, a stripe across the thing saying, "Dear YouTube reviewer, this is not my position. I am debunking this position."
That might be worthwhile, just a kind of stamp to have on the whole video. Just so that no matter what the reviewer sees, they'll see that, hopefully. I wanted to bring up something from chat. Rider of Dinosaurs was asking about the vegan teacher video with the N-word in it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The first thing I want to ask, is that video still up? That was quite a while ago I heard about that, and I'd be shocked if it was still up.
As far as I know, yes.
They made, I guess, basically an acrostic poem kind of thing, taking each letter of the N-word and assigning a positive trait to it. And at the end, they zoomed out to show the whole word next to a dark-skinned doll. And everyone said, this is ridiculous. How is this on YouTube? Take this down. Understandably so. And I would be surprised if it's still up.
I'm just finding it now. As far as I know, yeah, it is.
Oh,
it has 1 million views so far, uploaded 3 weeks ago.
What's the like to dislike ratio?
Let's have a quick look. Turned off, and comments are off.
Oh yeah, I bet. I did want to ask too now. So looking at things from the same analytical point of view that we were looking at your situation, let's look at Irish Demons now for a second. So Pratt's new channel, Reshaping Our World, has a few hundred subscribers. And then one day, in an instant of like 10 minutes, 70 people show up and flag one of his videos. YouTube's algorithm goes, well, that's out of place, because how could so many people all of a sudden visit this new weird little channel? So they follow the breadcrumb over. Everybody came from Irish Demons. So then they do the transcript read through with OCR, or I'm sure it's better than that, but you know what I mean? And they see instances of demons saying, you know, we got to go over and flag this guy. He's telling us all to kill ourselves and whatnot. And he gets the flag. Right. And then on his second review, I think the reason it stuck on Demon is because even if he's right,
which he
and
was.
I stress that, even if he's right for saying that Pratt's video should be off the air, and yeah, Barman, he is right, he still swarmed his viewers over to Pratt. And YouTube made a huge stink there a while ago about their anti-bullying thing. And I think they counted that as bullying instead of just alerting people to a disgusting human being, and everybody went and did it. So I really think in Irish Demon's case, and this goes for a lot of us that do this kind of thing, what you got to do is never say it. Just let your viewers do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or direct them away from your channel first. So to your Discord, to something like that. Because even though that video, it definitely needs reporting. That should not be up there. And the fact that it stayed up there, I believe it is still up, isn't it? It's mental. I'm trying not to swear. Yeah, just no. Someone's dropping bombs.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot to mute there. Yeah, and so I do think there's a big difference there. It's very different. Unfortunately, I don't think what Demon did was actually wrong in any way. Alerting people in the public to a disgusting person like him, and everybody choosing to do something about it should not be a bad thing in any way. I see Demon in the chat there. Hey, Demon, you want the link? I'll send it over to him. Hold on. I'll mute off 1 second.
I mean, look, when we've seen dangerous content online, we have wanted to report it. If someone is being violently homophobic, transphobic, someone is giving bad COVID advice, right? I'm going to flag that, and I would hope my friends do the same thing. I guess it can come as a bit of a shock when that exact same weapon is used against us, and we don't feel that we're doing anything necessarily bad. And more to the point, we're not actually breaking any of their rules. This is the world the IRA, no, the NRA wanted, isn't it? When everyone has a handgun.
It's a good point. True. It's a damn good point. So going forward, like yourself, Tune, have you thought of anything? Like, are you going to change anything? You're going to do anything? I was thinking that, the victims might need to be bleeped now and then, and you could just put the word up of what they said on the screen, because it wouldn't get matched so easily.
I suppose, but I do this. I listen to videos a lot, so I don't want to
yeah
that makes it hard. But the scripted videos, I think people maybe watch a little more than a debate. A debate, I listen to debates a lot of the time. So there's that. Maybe there's it could be shorter clips, because if I were to write the reviewing software to send to a reviewer, you'd want to give them some context, right? So you'd have maybe a shortest amount of time that they're going to listen to a clip. So maybe there's 5 seconds that's at issue, but you might have 10 seconds on either side. So a shorter clip might help. But I don't know if that's even necessary. I think the stripe over the front is probably all that I think I can do, unless somebody else has other ideas.
I had one. Go, Barman.
I was just going to agree with what Toon said before, because he mentioned, I think you stepped out then, was having a banner at the bottom of the page saying, I am reviewing videos, this is not my stance, blah, blah, for the YouTube reviewer.
Right.
I think that's a way that's nice and easy to go, that when the reviewers do, hopefully they watch it rather than just listen to it, and go, oh, I might need to actually see more of this when it does come through human reviewing, on the rare chance you get one.
See, my thinking is that audio recognition will be easier for the software than visual recognition of words. And as such, if we could do a little bit of an audio trick, we're probably in a safer driver's seat. Like, you got airbags in that car, kind of, so to speak. So I was thinking maybe like if you're going to do something on a COVID denier, maybe every time they say like C19 or something, you could just dub your own voice in saying the C19 word or C19 or whatever, something that would throw it off. But if somebody's like Toon was saying is doing it as a radio show, which is one thing I always say about YouTube, it gets used as a radio show a lot, then everybody's still able to follow along. They don't have to go, oh, damn, what did I just miss? Right?
Yeah.
And usually it's only one or two words that are the trigger words in somebody's video. So for us, when we're cutting a video together, it's really only 2 quick 5-second voiceovers and just pasting them in here and there. It's only an extra 2 minutes.
It depends. The context is, so much hard to say. I don't know. Yeah.
It's a tough one, but it's crazy because you had what's his name there, Kevin? That guy with the longer dark hair that got himself in trouble for debunking some COVID stuff. Isn't that Markiplier?
Thunderfoot.
Thunderfoot.
Markiplier.
You know me. I don't watch a lot of these guys. I don't really, but. Yeah, remember that story, right? He got himself in a lot of trouble and whatnot, and it was the same thing. He was only trying to show somebody to be an idiot.
If I remember correctly, Thunderfoot's situation was very similar to yours, Toons, where he got flagged for the content in a video that he was responding to.
Yeah, and I'm surprised at that because he has a large channel, and to take down a large channel programmatically or without really getting context, that's huge. Not a channel or video from a large channel. I would think YouTube would treat people with larger channels different than with smaller channels, and they do because there have been Logan Paul showed a video of a dead body. Like,
yeah,
anybody with a smaller channel would have just been not just demonetized, would have been gone, right?
That's true. That there's when it comes to bigger creators, things get strange, I think, because YouTube does seem to not necessarily play favorites, but there seems to be some sort of conscious or unconscious bias going on. Like, PewDiePie gets in trouble for understandable things, and his show, what was it called? Scare PewDiePie, that was taken away forever. Whereas Logan Paul, his movie was put on hold for 6 months, and then it just came out after he showed a dead body on YouTube.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very strange, the inconsistency with which things are applied.
Mm-hmm. John Norris in the chat, I think, has literally just put it perfectly. Cash is king.
Yeah.
So they know which one's going to make the most. A quick one though, could the tags and things that we use in the videos themselves, because I find if I put flat earth in tags, it's automatically demonetized and I have to appeal it and all that. Really? Yeah. If I put in the tags in the advanced settings and go down, put flat earth in there, it goes straight to yellow. Then I appeal it and it goes green. So surprisingly, with all the swearing I normally do in videos and talk about drink, but still. But yeah, I found putting debunk normally, I have seen that even if I put flat earth or COVID and things like that and put debunk, that they don't seem to be as quick to demonetize them, which is surprising, really. But has anyone seen the new check section on YouTube where you have to... They do the pre-checks and actually when it came to the monetization bit, it was like, are you fully agreeing to this? Normally it's just like, yeah, like profanity next. It's now, no, you have to say that is it. You're like, oh, okay. They do seem. Oh, go on.
I was going to say, I'm hoping that that system is now being implemented accurately, because they had that issue where they said that I have a 0% accuracy rating, but over 20 out of my last 40 uploads were uploaded with an accurate rating. And apparently they don't know how math works at YouTube headquarters.
So, if I could, I kind of hinted at Sally probably asking her cohorts to report, but we have a little more intel on that. We do some intel. So I could only conjecture that she was doing that until recently. And let me, if I'm sharing the screen here. You see, there it is. So there it is. Sally is asking someone here because my video came back saying, hey, MC Toon is back. If you have a few minutes to spare, and then is asking to have it specifically tagged, which this doesn't say necessarily that she did it before, but it does kind of reveal an awful lot. And now about bullying and harassment, which is in the fact that he gives my location. Sally, you give your own location. There's no. Yeah.
I was wondering about that part of it.
Yeah, Sally, you live in Bristol. We know that. You have said that in videos, in interviews with people. So I don't know what you're expecting.
Right. The video simply, it just says what district of a particular town she lives in. I guess the most sensitive thing is there's a Google Maps zoom that zooms into a particular street of that district. But as far as we know, that's not where she actually lives. It's just a random street that.
I typed into Google Earth Montpelier, and that's where it brought me. So that's where Google Earth targets it. So.
Which isn't a small area, to be fair.
It's what?
It's not a small area, to be fair.
No, I have no idea. I live in Minneapolis, people, and if somebody were to say, "Hey, Toon lives in Minneapolis area," whoopee, you're not doing anything I haven't already said, right?
Hey, Toon, I'm just wondering, now that you have that screenshot, is there something that can be done with that? Are you able to take that to anyone at YouTube and say, they can't be doing this? This is a violation of terms of service?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm afraid I think it's entirely useless, really. I just don't think Google give the slightest damn. As far as they're concerned, the matter has been adjudicated, and Toon's video has been judged okay. So as far as they're concerned, there's really nothing more for them to decide on the matter. And the fact that Sally's team were trying to brigade the video into oblivion, well, I suppose if it gets blocked again, then maybe it could be something that would be mentioned. But I'm afraid it's just one. We've just got to take the bullet and move on.
Yeah. I will, and maybe placing a banner over it might help. But yeah, and if they're trying to go with bullying, that's a stretch. I mean, I didn't go easy on her, but I wasn't. I think, and people could correct me if I'm wrong, bullying her or being overly rude. I called her, what did I say? A delightful accent.
Let's be fair. You're very polite. If they count you as bullying,
I was going to say there's a reason. There's a reason you've been referred to as the Mr. Rogers of the debunking community.
What? That nobody says that. What are you talking about?
He just needs.
That is on purpose, though. I mean,
yeah,
we want to appear reasonable and take the upper hand, and especially when you're dealing with somebody like Sally Bear, who seems like until you actually grapple with what she says, she seems like a very reasonable person. She's well spoken. She's well dressed. She talks about science, and she's looking after children. She wants everyone's children to be perfectly healthy. And on first impressions, she seems like a tremendously reasonable person. That's why maybe one of the more sarcastic moments, she was described as being the world's most agreeable 5G truther. Is like being the world's smartest amoeba. It's not a very high achievement, but that's how she presents herself.
I introduced her as all the while still coming across as completely charming. Sally Beer, I called completely charming. How terrible.
Looking back, it wasn't exactly a great choice, but
Well, I mean, I think she does come across as, she doesn't, okay, someone like Mark Steele, who immediately comes across as an awful person. You can tell just from a few seconds of listening to him that he's crude and ignorant and just an awful man. Sally, the first impression you get of her is, she's a concerned mum, and she wants nothing but, she's genuinely convinced that these little phones and harmless domestic appliances are going to start killing people. But I don't think she's as on the take as Mark is. I don't think that's how she makes her money. But she's still an awful person because of just how she handles dissent, and how it's just impossible to disagree with her, and how when somebody disagrees with her in a very explicit way, what she will do is she will sneakily brigade everyone and try and get things shut down.
So a bit like Kate Shimonari then.
Well, I think Kate Shemirani, she's kind of. She doesn't play it as subtly as Sally Bear. I mean, I think the reason why Sally Bear is still in control of her very large Facebook group and is somebody who still organizes protests about 5G is because in the eyes of her own community, she hasn't yet disgraced herself quite so much. I feel like, Kate Shemirani and Mark Steele were the candles that burnt twice as brightly, but for half as long. They burnt themselves out. Whereas I think compared to those two, Sally is very under the radar. We did actually scour the YouTubes for videos of her, and we only really found 2 that were usable. Most of what she says is on her Facebook group, and that is controlled very tightly. That's it may be a hive of villainy and deceit, but it's also a private members club. Not everyone is allowed to participate in that. But as Michael said, it is an echo chamber. You really anyone who sort of brooks the slightest bit of dissent in this room will be silenced, and I can talk about a few examples of that. We've got some screenshots of the kinds of things that go on, and Sally really hates to be disagreed with. She hates to be asked questions she can't answer, and really, she, as Michael said in his video, she's famous for picking and choosing the evidence that she follows. So under the guise of an alternative account, I asked her what seemed to me like a very sensible question, which is, Sally, how do we convince the rest of the world when, unfortunately, new emerging evidence may be on our side, but the weight of scientific consensus isn't, right? Which I thought to me seemed like a very steelman way of positioning her case, She replied and said, no alternative person's name. The consensus is on our side. The bulk of electromagnetic safety experts all agree with me. And here they are. Look, 250 scientists signed a report. They all agree with me. She totally cherry picks where and so at the end that account got booted out for daring to question the notion that scientific consensus wasn't. So she defines scientific consensus as that small amount of the population of professional scientists, and actually quite a few people who are not even scientists at all, who agree 100% with her.
Like the homeopathic vet. I just can't get enough thinking that Sally Bear and these other people think that the consensus of people that include homeopathic veterinarians on, human health and electromagnetic radiation somehow is an opinion to pay attention to. It's not. If somebody is so gullible as to think that water has memory and that purified water is somehow going to help you because there's nothing left of the original stuff.
God forbid the minerals are in there, right?
Yeah, you can't reason. There's no reason for that. No reasoning in that, because here's how you debunk homeopathy. Diarrhea.
Oh, God.
If water has memory, diarrhea. That's disgusting.
That's terrible.
But that is absolutely in line with homeopathy.
I will say I did laugh my socks off when it came to the homeopathic vet. I was like, oh. But before we keep going, I know Amy's got some housekeeping duties to do. Well, Matt's got some housekeeping duties to do. Woohoo! Matt and Amy, are you there?
Yes, we are. Thank you. We've got a couple super chats to read. If Matt's nope, he ran off. Okay. One from Delta for US 5. Oh, okay. Here we go. Read it, honey.
On Toon's channel, Delco's man US for $5 said, "You need to put the messages you got in your video and kick her in the teeth while she's being a snake." Getting Matt to read or not? I know, like Toon said, not to super chat on his channel.
That's right. So this one. Thank you very much.
What an idiot.
No. Read this one, please.
Breton Bull for Canadian, $5 said, if commenting on her Marks and Spencer Frock isn't bullying. I don't know what is. Shame on you, MC Toon. Shame.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Oh, the frock from Marks and Spencer.
That's funny.
And whoever wrote that, well done.
That frock was Primark. Yeah, that frock was Primark at best. That was not Marks and Spencer's.
We had a couple of good questions I wanted to get into from Rider of Dinosaurs. He put up to the iNetwork. So where is that damn one? The thing went so fast on me. Where is it? Are we fighting a losing battle? Are we in a position where enough people get together and actually do a proper front to YouTube and not just, collectively all giving them crap and stuff? Could we, properly alert them to these kind of things and try to wake them up? Or do you think it's deaf ears because it just comes down to advertising dollars and monetizing your personal information?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they have a primary purpose, and that's to make money. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to understand that's not going to change, and that's not something that we can be really all that surprised about. The shareholders in a company demand that the board of directors, do what they're supposed to do, or we'll get a new board of directors, and everything comes down from there. So they're going to make money, and a small channel doing something that they don't understand and that their automated system does whatever it does. Mm-hmm. It's a tough battle. That's why it's surprising for me to see like Thunderfoot have trouble, because he's not the small channel, and he brings them a lot of money. right? Because it gets a lot of views, and that's to the shareholders. Lots of views is lots of money, and so that's where you put your focus. So
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So in that regard, I cannot fault them, because if I were a shareholder, and I'm sure in my 401k I've got shares of it, probably, right? I want them to make money. So
yeah.
I don't feel though. I don't feel like it is that hopeless though. I mean, I wouldn't agree with the characterization of that message. The people, the worst nutcases are getting kicked off YouTube, and they're forced to go to networks like BitChute that nobody uses, and that that look terrible on your phone. And we're still here, right? And Kate Shemirani isn't, and and we were able to get some people selling nonsense products removed from YouTube as well. They're actually it's not so bad. We took a shot and we survived. So there is hope.
Yeah. Barman, you wanted in.
Yeah, just basically agree with what Salim just said. People like Kate, people like Mark, some of the really horrible flatters we've had. Nathan Thompson's been taken down before and things like that. Because they're the people they are and they spout all the crap, they do go. But do they go more because of the crap they say, or because no one wants to advertise with them, so YouTube doesn't give them any benefit of the doubt or anything like that? How much of it does come down to money, and how much does come down to, you can't say that, you stupid person?
I think it usually comes down to the fact that they almost always end up saying things that they shouldn't say. That a lot of these guys have such poor reality monitoring, such little self-control, that even if they start out trying to do a flat Earth YouTube channel, pretty soon they'll be denying that the viruses exist and offering some terrible suicidal medical advice.
Yeah, we're hearing.
It's
June.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, somebody else.
It does come back to people like that vegan teacher, though, in the video we mentioned before. How can that video still be up with 1 million views? Is it literally because it'll probably be advertised? She's got 40-odd thousand subscribers. She got deplatformed everywhere else. How is she still on YouTube? And
drives you nuts. Views? Right? Drives you nuts to even think about it. How does that happen?
It's mental.
Even if it's people hate and laugh watching. You know what I mean? It's still, if you've got an algorithm that's supposedly looking for this kind of thing, how does the debunker get flagged before the actual moron?
Yeah.
Riddle me that.
YouTube's got some way to go in some bits, but some things it does get right, like notifications. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't.
I write software, and I have thought about what would it take to write the notification system in YouTube, and that is a problem I would never want to deal with. It's a mess. It's a small part of YouTube, right? We don't think about it, and we expect that it's going to be awesome, but so much stuff.
I'll be fully fair. My coding was making a calculator in college, and that was about it. But I would just see it along the lines of, if new video or whatever, notify one.
Yep. That is definitely too simplistic. We get feedback from our users, and so every once in a while we get something filters to us, about some end user telling us how to write spam filtering. Like, I'm sorry, it's way more complicated than that. So yes, so Barman, thank you. I gotta say, it's more than that. Yeah. If you go subscribe, here's the deal. If you subscribe to 500 channels, do you think that you actually want to get a notification for every one of them? You think you might, but that would drive you crazy. You'd turn off all notifications. That's what would happen. So YouTube's got to sit there and say, okay, we know if we over notify them, they're going to turn it off, and that loses us those eyes. So we need to balance that. And even if they say, click the bell, right? Send me all notifications. Even then, they're not going to. It's the same problem. How do they balance that? And it is not a trivial problem.
True, but then why send a notification for a live stream 24 hours late? That just seems silly.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Yeah. Or not at all. We literally have a member of the iNetwork channel who has yet to see a notification for iNetwork since joining the channel as a full-time member. It's ridiculous. That's, I mean, I know we're a little rough here and there and blah, 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 but, you've got advertisers doing the whole, oh, my bush is so, it needs to be shaved and stuff. So I'm sure they would be fine with us. Come on now. Let's just be real, right? Amy, we've got a couple of comments, right?
Yes, please. We do. We have a couple good ones here. The first one is from Martin James. He says, how does Oakley stay on YouTube? It's hard to think of a bigger bully. And that's very true. And then Rider of Dinosaurs had a great question too. No, I'm not, honey. YouTube is going to start allowing minors onto the mainstream YouTube with parental supervision. Are we at a greater risk over the not for kids thing?
Good question. Good question. Let's do Oakley first here. How does Oakley stay on YouTube? Because he is an absolute bully. I think it's because of the chaos of the live streams and there's no real pre-recorded, uploaded content that's easier to figure out. Right, Kevin?
No one's going to sit through a 6-hour Oakley stream to find him say the R word once. No one's going to do it, and I don't blame them for not doing it.
No doubt.
He's also trimmed his market down. I went to look at one of his videos yesterday, caught the live stream. You can only chat in the side chat if you're a member. Well, that's half his audience who might just go there for the dumpster fire and to talk in the chat gone. They're the ones that might then report something.
That's like acting on purpose as dumb as somebody like Unirock would. Who would do that on purpose? That's really strange. Interesting, but that's that echo chamber of the conspiracist, right?
Yeah.
Oh, one thing, people like Amy and myself with children on the autism spectrum, conspiratard, not a cool word. Conspiracist, a very cool word. Just something to say there, just something to think about. We don't get mad about it. It's just a thing.
I avoid words that end with tard. I don't think that's
damn right, man.
That's not the way to I like to be a little more creative in my writing.
You are.
Any
well,
word,
somebody is.
any word that has that suffix, it all came from the same place. It's all just a corruption of the same word, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Forrest is saying, what about leotard? And I'd say, what about mustard? Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, but the whole use of the word comes from retardation, as in to slow down your vehicle or your horse or whatever. And it's a reference to slow. So just back your roll. All right. That's it.
So just before I had to go take a Riley, I heard a question about Oakley and how does he stay on? And so we mentioned before that a lot of these people are they're basically not self-aware. Nathan Thompson cannot control himself. He's going to come out. It's going to leak out his anti-Semitism, his whatever else, all these things that he's, the reason why we think he's so disgusting is more than just flat earth. The flat earth is really just funny. It's these other things. So Oakley, people think he's not actually a flat earther. Good case could be made for that, but he is self-aware and he knows where that line is. And I saw somebody write that in the comment too, that he knows where it is and how to push it, how to milk as much money out of his gullible followers as possible while staying on YouTube so that he can get that, that platform to do the milking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very much. Very much. Oh, damn mute button. That's like the third time tonight it's screwed up. But that's very much a conscious effort. He knows exactly where to push it. I do it myself on iNetwork. I try to push that envelope so we can stay green, but I can still, really get my point across. You know what I mean?
Well, that's an important point, though, in general, because the flirfs and the COVID deniers and the lamppost conspiracy theorist 5G guys, right? These are mentally broken individuals on some occasions, and they're going to do wild and mad things, and I sort of see it as our role to try to kind of bring the tone down a bit, to try and keep it calm. But yeah, you are dealing with nutty people, and they go on a nut.
No, it's how many of them though do you think do it just for the attention? They just want to have that attention because they just want to do and have. Oh God, never mind. Come back.
Well, no, I did speak. I had the pleasure of speaking with Kate Shemirani's son, who's a lovely guy, and he told me something that he also told the BBC in an interview, which was, look, imagine what it's like, growing up, being told that the Bilderbergers and the some massive the Rothschilds are going to come and shoot you down from their moon base, and he said that his mum always demanded to be the center of attention, and she always had to be heard, and for a while she had her 15 minutes of fame, she was treating the rest of the world that way. But actually, something that our group did do, when we have these sort of fringe characters who suddenly rose to fame, and maybe, let's say, by less responsible newspapers like the Daily Mail might be sort of wholeheartedly quoting Mark Steele, for example, as an example of a 5G weapons expert scientist. Well, we made a Wikipedia page for him. He didn't have a Wikipedia page before, but the fact that our little group had been following him for a great deal of time, and we had some people who actually lived quite close to him and were familiar with some of the antics he got up to. Well, we were able to compile that and make a very complete Wikipedia page. And anytime a newspaper columnist wants to, or at least is approached by Mark Steele, the first thing they'll do is Google for him, and Wikipedia will come out on top. So we did Kate Shemirani. Latest one was Derva Davis. I don't know if you know that woman, but she is she's one of the sort of anti-5G nutters who seem very sciencey. She's got a degree in epidemiology, and she runs a thing called the Environmental Health Trust. And she actually did have a Wikipedia article, but it was very glowing, and it was talking about all her charitable works and wonderful things she's done. But actually, what's she known for? Well, she's known for promoting 5G nut jobbery, and the Wikipedia article should reflect the truth as she is known. And so, a few hours spent editing an article is enough to actually, I think it's a good thing. We'll basically let the truth be known, and let the 5G truthers rant and rave, and they'll try and repeat the articles back, but they just don't have the sources, and we do.
Please tell me you got 5G nut jobbery into one of their Wikipedia pages. I don't care whose, just one of them.
I think my dedication to Wikipedia is such that I would never want to use unencyclopedic language. I think it's that can just be our little phrase.
I watched. I have a flag on that on both Kate and Mark Steele's Wikipedia pages for changes, and yeah, I have seen people come in and try to put in, to take out anything that might be perceived as inflammatory. But the people that that monitor it. I don't edit it generally, but the other people do. They go and remove that defacing right away.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is not so easily trifled with. It's like you've just pissed off a giant conference center full of librarians, and they're not going to be very pleased when somebody replaces Mark Steele is a conspiracy theorist with Mark Steele is a truth teller and weapons expert. Like that's going to fly for about 5 nanoseconds before that's reverted.
You do not want to face the fury of librarians that have been angered. Oh, Angel Gamer's wondering, does Sally Beer have a Wikipedia?
No, unfortunately, she doesn't. I think.
Oh no, there is. It's what you do is you go to Wikipedia and you look up human excrement in composting, and you'll see she's linked there 2 or 3 times. Hey, I kept it clean.
A bit harsh. What are you talking about?
In order to get a Wikipedia article made, there are some standards. So for a biographical article, the subject of the article has to be notable. And we can define that in a bunch of ways, but like a common one is somebody should have been the subject of extensive coverage in reliable secondary sources. So I can decode that a bit. A reliable secondary sources could be something like a newspaper with a strong editorial policy. So the New York Times, the Times of London, not the British newspaper, the Daily Mail, for example. That would not be a good example. That's banned. But unfortunately, so Sally Beer has not been the subject of any significant coverage. She's done a few interviews here and there about her nutritional work, but nothing I think that would ever pass the bar to get her onto a Wikipedia page. If she starts speaking at big conferences like Kate Shemirani and Mark Steele did, if she got arrested like they did, I'm sure that would make the news. And but she hasn't done any of these things. She's, from what I can tell, is a model citizen.
For now.
Can I ask a clarifying question? In that case, would Nathan Oakley's interview with Vice qualify him for a Wikipedia article?
No.
I would hope not.
Interviews are a bit of a touchy one because it sort of crosses the border between being a primary and a secondary source. So an interview is usually, if it's quoting the actual words that somebody said, then that's their opinion of themselves in their own words. So we would probably want to discount that if there was, the reason why we could make an article about Mark Steele was, Vice magazine actually did some long form journalism of which he was the main topic. And then, Kate Shemirani was covered extensively by the Jewish Chronicle because they were concerned about her anti-Semitic tropes that she was using in much of her public speaking. And so, when we had a serious newspaper covering these people in a way that was, quite big. There was at least 2 long-form articles about Kate Shemirani, and once they were done, it was clear that she had passed the threshold, and we were able to create an article. But before that, the draft articles that we had made about her did not get accepted. They were, people would say, "Well, no, this is too soon. She's not a notable person, and we're not here in the we're not here to crystal gaze. We don't predict the future about who may be famous or just because she plans to do something in the future doesn't necessarily mean that she's worthy of a Wikipedia article right now."
The sound of that makes it sound like the Wikipedia reviewers viewed you guys as a fan of someone who wasn't that big yet, and they were going, no, guys, they're not famous enough yet. You can't make this article now.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably not a good characterization of it because, as the Wikipedia reviewers, they're potentially all of us, and it's me, right? I'm a Wikipedia reviewer, and my reputation as an editor of Wikipedia is kind of based on me also knowing the rules of Wikipedia and following the rules. So I'm not going to want to submit something knowing that it's probably not going to get past review because that just looks bad for me.
But now, Rational Wiki is a different place and certainly could have entries for Sally.
Oh yes, I mean I would encourage anyone. If anyone's, I mean I'm not active on Rational Wiki, but if anyone is keen to sort of start editing, I mean I think all of these the flurfs and the COVIDiots and the whatever deniers, let there be an abundance of descriptions of them on all kinds of Wikipedia pages.
I'd love to have a Wikipedia page on me.
Well, you have to do something. You have to do something notorious, or
go get arrested.
Good. Yeah.
I like that Godless Scummer pointed out that at the top of Mark Steele's Wikipedia article, it says not to be confused with Mark Steele, Noe at the end, comedian.
who's a really good British sort of left-wing comedian who does a lot of sort of social commentary, and I do hope he's just not getting bad vibes for being confused with the flagrant conspiracy theorist from Gateshead.
They're scary. I'm sure they're about the same age as well. How old's Mark Steele, the not comedian?
60.
60.
Yeah, they are. They're the same age. That's scary. Stick them in a room together. Wonder if they went to school together. Oh, ding dong.
Okay, hold on. I'll get it. Hey, Vishanti made it.
Yay.
All right. How's it
Sorry,
going,
I'm late.
Vishanti? No
Hello,
worries. How's it
I
going?
have a thing. What's up, everybody? Oh man, everyone's drinking but me. I gotta fix that.
Holy fuck. Oops. Fudge. I know it had to happen. It had to happen. Damn it.
It happens.
I almost hit my beep too, but I didn't get there in time because I actually have my own beeper on my little box now. It's kind of funny. I'm going to try it. Yeah.
An entire hour. You did an entire hour.
I know, and I'm on like beer 6 right now.
Wow.
And so
I'm surprised you didn't just melt by not saying that over the course of an hour. Like,
it's kind of eating me from the inside out right now, Tim. I'm just kidding.
Maybe step outside and yell a bunch.
How with the moon?
I think we should start putting Dick on a 3-second delay.
I think we should. How do you think I feel? I've been drinking for 14 hours.
You never stopped. You're a barman. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you own the pub. I mean, you probably put beer on Cheerios, and it's probably good beer too. So you know.
Why would you not put beer on Cheerios? Sorry, Vishant.
I mean, so just for my own benefit, summarize in like 2 seconds what you've already discussed so that I don't repeat it.
YouTube bad.
I did a video. I did a video on Sally Beer. She's an anti-5G nutter. She did not like it. We're very strongly suspect that she sent a bunch of cohorts to report it. I appealed it twice. The second one was approved. It was reinstated. And then we discovered that she did, in fact, ask some people to I'll bring it up right now, darn it, wrong thing, to go and report. So she is asking people to go and report my video, this time for harassing. And there, see that? So
Great. So brigading. Got it. All right. Thanks, YouTube.
There it is.
Yep.
But it's, I think that the video, and you know, if it gets taken down, it gets taken down. It's not that big of a deal. I can do 20 more videos on Sally.
Well, I mean, I think we absolutely should, and you know, there's plenty more to say about Sally. Not so much her as a person, but what she and her friends from Bristol have been up to. It's not all riots in Bristol. Some of it's also crazy anti-5G truthers as well. But I mean, one of the things that I find quite fascinating is that if you read Sally Bear's Facebook group, she is very keen to promote a legal case. It's called Action Against 5G. If you Google it, you can look it up, and you see that they have attracted the services of a very prominent British lawyer called Michael Mansfield QC, and QC is just a title we give to senior lawyers in this country. So Sally has, through her Facebook group, helped raise money. The plaintiffs, so the complainants or the applicants in this case, are all sort of people who live near the vicinity of Brighton or are known to be associated with Sally in her anti-5G campaigning. They've managed to raise something like £150,000.
Jeez.
The odd thing about this is there doesn't appear to be any records of any court filings at all. If you go through their webpage, they have a so I think it's called a letter before appeal or a letter before action, basically stating their case, which it's bizarre. It's claiming that that these complainants, these plaintiffs, have been harmed and are victims under the European human rights law. And now, as far as I'm aware, that can't even apply, given that we're no longer part of Europe anymore. But and then along with that is one of these scientific dossiers that these guys love so much, strangely compiled by a professor of business computing at Cork University. So not an epidemiologist, not somebody with a background in even computer hardware, but actually somebody whose qualification might be very similar to McDoon's and my own, because we both work in business software. That's what we do for a living. But it wouldn't make us qualified to prepare an expert testimony before court. So we have this bizarre juggernaut that, as far as we can tell, it's never made a single filing. Its complainants haven't actually been harmed in any way that, at least none that they can point to. The only harm they claim exists is entirely theoretical. There's this huge big name barrister attached to it who doesn't seem to have done a single day's work at all for the thing. And yet she's still raising money for it. And I've got to say it, that's got my curiosity. I am absolutely fascinated by what Sally and some of her friends may be up to.
That is a bit dodgy. As a quick one for the 5Gers, Toon, did you ever get a response to asking the 5G conspiracy nuts for any information about where they got 60 gigahertz from?
That's a great question. For people that don't know, there's a lot of anti-5G nutters that claim that, number one, 5G uses 60 gigahertz. It doesn't. It probably never will. And it certainly doesn't at all anywhere. But they claim that 60 gigahertz gets absorbed by oxygen in the air, which is correct. It does. And then just some random thing, it then prevents oxygen from being binding with hemoglobin in your body, and then you'll suffocate and they say these things, right? Hey, YouTube reviewers, I'm not making these claims. Just all right. Had to put that in case somebody complained. They claim that then you'd have effects of hypoxia, and then they claim that this is actually the cause of this nasty virus going around that's injuring people. They say 5G 60 gigahertz is doing it. 5G doesn't have 60 gigahertz, and 60 gigahertz has no way of doing that they claim. So I did a video last week, I think, where I took 5 different people making this very claim and asking them, where did you get this information from? Because it's clear they're just parroting it from somebody else. Because for more than a year, I've been asking people, I've gone to websites and commented, I've sent emails to people, to nutritionists and homeopathic people, just all over the place. Where did you get this information? And all they ever do is they show, oh, well, 60 gigahertz absorbs oxygen. Yes, it does. How does it have this claimed effect, right? There's many effects that could happen. Maybe it could turn bananas orange or purple or translucent, but you just picked some random thing that you think it causes. Where's that from? Nowhere. Nobody has anything. So that's the question. I've got no answer. I contacted Dana Ashley, sent her an email, contacted Joe Imbriano and Lena Poo. I sent all 3 of them emails, and on Facebook, if I could. Silence. I also I have asked in the past Mark Steele, who I referred to. He had nothing, and also Kate Shemirani made the claim, but she's just too dang stupid to even bother asking. So Nothing. But I'm working on a round 2 because I've got another 5 nutters making the same claims. So be looking out for that.
Oh, that'd be good. I'm just surprised that none of them replied. That's quite annoying. I saw one from your chat, Donnelly 396. Why is 60 gigahertz make a difference? And it's just because of the way it interacts with oxygen, because you need to put more energy in it to get a decent range out of it because of how it interacts with oxygen. Basically, everything Toom just said. And we've also got a bit of housekeeping if Amy's there. Amy?
I am. We do. We have a super chat from, if I start reading it, he'll come. From Rodent, no last name.
Can I see that new guy?
Sure. Can you read
Rodent, no last name for $2. I read it on the internet. It must be true. You're a mouse. You can't even send super chat.
Oh, that's good.
Get it?
That's good.
it? Thank you so much. That's great.
It does seem true that most of these people, one of them comes up with a claim, it gets put out there, and none of them bother to double check any of the information behind it. They just go, yeah, that'll do.
Yep.
But it's the same. We see it in all of them. The flat earthers have the same process. You start with a conclusion. You look for whatever evidence you can find to support that conclusion, even if it's just repeated from somebody else. Step 3, ignore all evidence contrary to your conclusion. Step 4, declare that your conclusion has been undeniably proven.
Yeah.
That is, I've called it the scientific method, but it's really the conspiratorialists' method. That's how they prove their claim.
And we all know, Toon, if you go to Google if you're conscious of it or not, with an agenda to find the information you want, you will find supporting evidence. No matter what your ridiculous search is, you will find it. No problem. Yeah. We had a good question for you here, Toon, from Nerd Angle. Like, if the mass flag causes a machine to review, how does it determine it was COVID misinfo? If it were a human review, someone needs a one-on-one with their supervisor. How did they come to that? Well, I could answer that too. Right? What it comes down to, Nerd Angle, is nobody watched any real chunk of video. All they did was look at the matching timestamps of the words being said and go, yep, that was what's said. But when he got his second review is when we had people listen to the context, or we had people actually watch the video, not just timestamps from the bots or whatever. And they did it within context and went, oops, sorry. Right. And debunking requires context. Otherwise, we're screwed every time. Right.
Yeah, that's true. And how did it's a baffling question. How did it in particular come up with that topic? Because that topic was never in my video. And the only thing I can think of is that there's two things I suspect. One is, somehow, because it's a fringe thing, because people have said 5G causes this thing, right? That maybe it got put into that bucket. And the other thing I thought of is maybe Sally encouraged her people to make a particular claim, because certainly she thinks science is on her side and she thinks that I am making the wrong claims. So she may have said, go flag it for this particular reason. I don't know, but
I think it has more to do with certain keywords being triggered by the bots that go, these are the ones the conspiracists use.
Yeah.
Right? So Steaming Cup of Reason comes in with a comment, iNetwork himself. So why didn't they do that on Irish Demon's video? Well, Irish Demon's video, I think, Reason, is a very different case, because Irish Demon's video encouraged a whole whack of people, whether he wanted it to or not, encouraged a whole whack of people to mass flag Daniel Pratt's video. And Daniel Pratt has a subscriber count on that channel of a couple hundred. And all of a sudden he gets like 70 or 80 flags. So YouTube goes, wow, where did they come from? They follow the traffic back to Demon, and they do a little, bot analyzation, and they hear Demon talking about Daniel Pratt and whatnot. And boom, it was probably pretty simple for them to initially, without real cause, flag him as bullying when there's no bullying involved at all. What's actually going on is Irish Demon's trying to alert the public, stay away from this POS because, he's toxic. Right?
Yeah, just point out, Demon was in Toon's chat earlier and did point out that he didn't say to people directly to go and report the video, but as Dick said before, because people have gone from one to the other, it doesn't look good, because I bet there was more people going to that video than Irish had subscribed.
You could see where they came from. Could we? Sal needs to. He was saying he's getting a little long for being on here.
I'm still here, but I'm about to log off. Lovely to have a chance to have caught up with you all.
Oh, it was. This has been fantastic. I'm so glad you could join us. And in the background, I hope we can get together and have a chat soon.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm part of the Toon extended research team, and he knows how.
Well, I have. Long fingers in that server, so I'll get in touch with you.
Cool, right. Thanks for having me on the show. Bye for now.
All right, thank you. See you later.
Take care, man. I like that guy, too. No wonder you look so good. I'm just kidding.
He's he studied electrical engineering and computer science, so who can't like that, huh?
Exactly. Much respect. But good choice in buddies. I like that guy. Yeah. So Vishanti, are you even there still? She's muted. I don't know if I'm calling. Okay, good. Have you been kind of catching on? How there's we very much see a difference between Irish Demons and Toons. Are you up to speed? Are you versed?
To me, it's both equally part of the failing of YouTube in that there's just so many freaking videos all the time. There's no way a human being can look at all that. So when you have somebody mass reporting, the, robots at YouTube go, alert. And then all they do is that surface level check. Oh, yeah, they said a thing at the time that people said that they said it. But then you get a human in there to actually determine context. And theoretically, what that's supposed to do is they go, oh, wait, they're not saying a terrible thing. They're quoting somebody, or they're showing a clip of someone saying the terrible thing. So they're not striking the wrong person instead. And I've seen a lot of that happening lately, and it's very frustrating. And I was joking with someone yesterday, actually. They were asking about this trend, and I said, well, no humans work at YouTube. Because that's how it goes.
That's funny. Amy was waiting to get in, right?
Yes, please.
Why are you doing that?
We have a super chat. Go ahead and read it. Just read the super
Wrote
chat.
a note last night for $5. We are seeing some of the flaws in widely implementing AI across our systems. Things you need to be aware of. We'll go.
Oh, geez. Yes, that's very true, though. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way.
Get the mouse.
Get the mouse.
John Norris asked a good question here. Could you discuss the idea that YouTube has a reputation score of every creator? I don't know if they do, but if I were to write what they have to write, I would absolutely have a reputation score for every creator. And I would also have a way for people to manually educate that score to say, this guy does things we like, this guy does things we don't like. I would definitely hope it's primarily driven by people, but also the same indication type thing. Like, oh, there was something we didn't like, point against. There's something we did like, point for. Things like that. I would absolutely do that. I don't know if they do. I would love to hear if they have.
I have heard of people who are more familiar with the YouTube strike system and things like that, that even once the strike has gone, it still affects how much YouTube pushes your channel. Whether that's correct or not.
Yes.
But yeah, it does seem like there is something in the background of YouTube that does keep an eye on things.
Yeah, people talk about being shadow banned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I can't disagree with. It does seem.
There are times it happens, for sure. Absolutely. 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 We are humans, and it's humans that write the algorithms and stuff. As such, our little biases and so on and whatnot are going to creep in. That's just the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
And even then, once reviewing it, you might get an unbiased reviewer, shall we say.
Yeah.
And they do, you hear the flat earthers complain. They're like, well, it used to be when you type flat earth, you get a whole bunch of flat earth videos. And now all you get is the debunking videos. Like, well, there's some truth to that. The majority of the videos are debunking videos that are put out now, but, or at least a lot of them are. But absolutely, YouTube has made it clear that they are not promoting certain things in their searches. Flat earth is one of them.
Good.
Yeah, and you can't. Everybody has. This is important. Everybody has a limit to their own censorship, right? If everybody think for a second, if you were in charge of YouTube, what would you allow on? Let's say you don't even have to think about advertisers. Take the current, YouTube platform, and where are you going to draw the line? And it doesn't matter if you're flat earther or anything. You're going to draw the line somewhere.
Everybody will.
If you are the most extreme libertarian in the world, you're still going to draw a line somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. There are things that you're going to say, nope, I won't have that on my platform.
Yep.
So everybody has that line.
Even us Canadians have that line. And how social can you be? Right? No, I'm just kidding. But, it's true. Everybody has it. Absolutely.
So take that as your input to the discussion, because they're censoring. Yes, they are. And so would you. But where is that line? And then you come back and you add in, okay, we have to make money. Our advertisers don't want stuff in front of certain things. I will draw my line here, but the advertisers say, no, I won't. This chunk, I won't have it. Don't put my stuff in front of or have it be associated with this stuff. I need it, better stuff.
I really hate that that's a double-edged sword, is that they need advertisers in order to monetarily keep things rolling, but they're also just so beholden to the whims of the advertisers.
It's a double-edged sword. Absolutely. So you look at the alternative platforms that are like, well, we're not going to do that. So you see these ones that are really, really resistant to censoring anything. They won't let you. I'm not going to say it. Put it in your mind. That thing that should never be out there. They're not going to let that, but they don't have the advertisers. So how are they going to pay for the servers and the bandwidth?
Yeah, someone's got to eat that cost. Servers,
and that's not small.
All that stuff. It's not small. And the bigger you get, the more that increases, probably exponentially. And, with the sheer amount of things being uploaded to YouTube by the hour, it's amazing that most of us can use it for free and still get functionality out of it. YouTube, I'm not giving you ideas.
Andrea Huddle says there should be enough people in the debunking arena that do programming. You should all look into making your own version, like our own video streaming platform.
Well, there's a few people doing that. Yeah, and there's a few people already, like Linus Tech Tips has Float Plane and so on, right? People are trying to break away from YouTube as fast as possible. And that's one of the reasons why YouTube has brought out memberships and whatnot, because they're trying to hook you into the ecosystem the way that the iTunes store did for iPhones and apps and so on, right? And that's the big thing right now. And that's why people like a streamer that I watch named Jeremy, he has switched over to Subscribestar for his sort of Patreon membership thing because it's so independent and, they don't really assert their own beliefs over people, at least not yet. Like they're not doing that whole thing. Yeah. And so that if he has to bounce from platform to platform, I mean, he has amassed 1 million subs on YouTube. So I'm not talking about like some little player, right? We're talking about a real guy here. And excuse me. He is concerned because of the way things are going right now. So it's definitely a conversation that's worth having. We have on the iNetwork discussed closing memberships and switching everybody to like Subscribestar and Patreon and whatnot, because then we can eliminate Google and YouTube from the equation because they're doing this. We're going to overtax people that are not Americans now and so on. And it's getting a little bit out of hand. But that is, yet again, another story. We'll leave it there. Right.
The thing is, he's like you said, he's got 1 million subscribers. He can do that, but he can only do that because he started on YouTube, and then it's true to somewhere else.
Yep.
You can't. You look at these other platforms; they don't have viewers. That's the thing, and
only Twitch. Only Twitch.
They tend to have niche viewers too. So, like, you go to Rumble, they have a certain demographic, and that's it.
Please tell me it's wrestling videos, because if it was just streams of Royal Rumbles, I would be there like 2 minutes ago.
It is. Yeah, it is. You'll love it.
Is it really? Oh my God, I'm down. Can it be classic wrestling, late 90s wrestling? Because I'm so there.
Was it Randy Macho Man Savage?
Dude, I'm talking like Bret Hart and Shango and like, dude, Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna. Give me that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the hillbilly.
Yeah, man.
With the 2x4 on his shoulder.
Bushwhackers.
See, I could
see. I'll be the what's his name warrior there.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, I'll be the Ultimate Warrior because he was hanging out with that Elizabeth girl, right? That works for me. I'll play that role.
All right, guys. I'll be right back. I need to go start my own streaming service that only shows reruns of BattleBots.
Nice.
I'm in.
Is there a kaiju streaming service yet? Because about that.
That would be.
I'd be all up that. I'd be all up in that. Absolutely.
All right, there's 3 of us right now. Let's do this. We're gonna call it Kaiju to You.
What we need first and foremost is a streaming service that is the no woo to you. Right. And what we do is we actually like pre-screen people the way that like let's say Doug DeMuro does for his new Cars and Bids auction site, where you can't just sell a Pinto because he won't let you. Right. It has to be a cool car. Well, we won't let you just, Nathan Thompson out on our new service. You have to prove that you actually have a leg to stand on. And it could be artificial as long as it's, scientifically based. You're fine. I don't care. I'm not discriminating,
Excuse me, I have an artificial leg to stand on, and that is my 5G COVID leg.
I'm sorry. Simon Dan has the artificial legs in this community, people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fake legs, Dan.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you guys all get your tickets to the secret NASA moon base breakdancing championship in April?
Shh! Why are you telling people about this? It's secret.
Oh crap!
It's invite only.
All right, edit that out.
We will do. It's not as if this is live or anything.
You didn't hear any of that.
Phil Bell's.
Hold on. I got a neuralizer. Hold on. Ready? Okay, you're good. There we go.
No, that's just beer goggles, Dick.
Phil Belch has mentioned in chat, sooner or later YouTube will face competition. They're cutting their own throats, which is true. I think as soon as one of these other YouTube wannabe channels get their search sorted right, because I go to BitTube to look for content sometimes, and to search for anything, nothing related to what I search comes up properly. It's a mess. But once one of these services sorts out that properly, sorts out the subscription feeds properly, makes it very similar to YouTube without being the same as YouTube and gets things right, I think people will go there.
Now, here's the thing. I've uploaded videos to different sites, trying them out and having things. And I have on Rumble several videos with 0 views.
Yeah.
But on Rumble, like, I've tagged it with keywords that will get views.
Yeah.
That would
here's
0 views.
Here's the thing, Tune. Do you switch your viewership over to a different platform and divide things and make yourself weaker on the main platform that has built you? Or do you just stick on the main platform? Because as soon as you advertise that you're on a different platform, some of your YouTube viewers will go to the other platform. But will that help you gain new people or just make you look weaker in YouTube's eye and therefore the recommended feed and so on? It's a very big catch-22, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's nothing there. We've seen people try it, right? Nathan Roberts. He stopped
Unirock. Yeah.
Yeah. Red Pill Philosophy. Where is he? He had at one time he had 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. He changed his whatever. I don't know what he was doing before. He changed it all, and it went to Flat Earth, and 200,000 people don't care. So
no, exactly.
So he's like, I'm going to go to these other platforms. Everybody come with me to the other platform. Nobody came with. He's done.
Yeah. Right. Even Linus Tech Tips, they started Floatplane, their new paid for service for streaming media. Do you see Linus Tech Tips on YouTube? I wonder why. Yeah. Right?
You have to. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and I sent Brighteon. You can't even link to Brighteon on YouTube or Facebook, right? Because so how are you going to go there? You can't, because it's
yeah. And if you want to, Steaming Cup of Reason in the chat brought up opinions on Floatplane. Well, the thing with Floatplane is you can't watch for free and then have an ad or two and then choose to be a member or whatever later. It is a paid for subscription, and to pay for a single creator subscription would mean that you're going to have to put out enough content to equal something like NBC, or how many people are going to do it? You are almost committing to being like 20% of an entire streaming service at that point. Yeah. I'm who can keep up with that? You're going to need camera operators, editors, and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's a huge deal. That's for like Bitwit and, Jay's 2 cents and people like that, right?
Yep. Somebody says Red Pill's busy with his life. What he's doing now is very cool. Awesome. That's great. Exiting Flat Earth and doing something that's, real is a great idea. So if he's doing that, awesome. Good for him. Same thing with Noodle Arms. Who is that guy? The Flat Earther Team cover him a lot. He quit. Whatever. It doesn't matter. He quit, and he's doing like comic books or something. Good job. Yeah. Good idea.
Scotty Storm quit.
Comic books. Sorry, I heard comic books. I came running. Comic books.
Who is that Flat Earther that quit and is now doing comic book videos?
M. Benz. M. Benz.
Yeah. M. Benz.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then there's that guy. Remember that guy? He used to call you an insufferable moron. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And then he deleted, and then he came back.
Yeah. He's on Facebook doing the same stuff.
He is. I had no idea.
They're like the worst butt pimples that just, you can't get rid of them. They're like the Susan Boyle boils from Futurama.
Oh. Yeah, we figured that guy disappeared like Scotty Storm because, you know, he got a job or got a girlfriend. We weren't sure what the deal was there.
The rumor is that his girlfriend told him you need to quit on YouTube.
So he just continued on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I think he toned it down and now he's with somebody else or he's not with anybody. Pretty sure she's gone, so.
Yeah, well, he's right the hand probably moved in.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. It's how can you imagine now, Toon? Imagine being one of these guys and you live in a somewhat populated area and a couple of people happen to notice you when you're at the mall shopping with your family. Hey, aren't you that flat earth idiot? Well, how does a person live with that? What?
Fortunately, other than like Mark Sargent and maybe a couple others.
I'm Mark Sargent.
Right. Just a few of them have made it so that they can't get away with it, right? Like if you go to a job interview, what's going to happen? They're going to Google your name. So when Nathan Thompson wants to go to a job interview, it's not going to go well for him, is it? Austin Whitsitt, it's not going to go well for him, right? I want to apply to be somebody in a technical. I want to do technical support on computers. I'm sorry, you are Austin Whitsitt. I found you online. Hit the road. So.
Well said. Yeah, well said. Well said. Hey, the barman's back. Barman.
I am. Yes.
So we were talking about YouTubers who have cleaned up their act and disappeared and, moved on and stuff. Who is your favorite of the disappeared flat earthers? The guys who have just gone?
Orphan Red. She's just vanished. It's awesome. I'm so happy.
I thought she was back.
Yeah,
well, she
she's back.
A video, something about OnlyFans or something. I don't think she's done a video since, has she?
Yeah, no, she's orphan on her back on OnlyFans or whatever it is.
She was Mensa girl for a while.
Yeah.
Oh no, they made her stop that.
Yeah, her last video was 2 months ago, which was Flat Earth OnlyFans, question mark, exclamation mark. Funny OnlyFans Christmas. I haven't watched it. It's 3 minutes and 17 seconds long, but that was her last video. Oh, God. And before that was, let's have a quick look.
2 months, 11 months.
Yeah. Flat Earth OnlyFans 2021 lockdown AMA.
But Barman, somebody said she's back doing Orphan Blue content, and that's all about, how to use items from sex shops and stuff, right?
I don't get anything up when I come up on Orphan Blue, but she's got her Orphan Blue bedtime stories channel still. There's 2 of those.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's corsets and cuddles, right?
See, the cuddles I could get behind. As long as she doesn't laugh, I'll be happy.
That is just terrible.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
What's scary is Waddentoad, who's probably in chat, does an amazing impression of Orphan Red that it's scary.
Ouch.
Ooh, we heard another can opening.
At 10 to 3 in the morning, it's time just to have a Pepsi because it's 10 to 3.
Pepsi.
And I can't get a kebab. It's Pepsi Max actually. I've run out of cold beers. I've had 15 over the day.
Gross. Who would drink cola? That's
I don't drink pop, so this sound is not pop.
Pop.
I don't think I've ever even seen Tab Cola in my life. Is there a place in Canada you can get Tab Dick? I don't think I've ever seen it.
You have to go back in time about 20 years, but yeah.
No, they discontinued it so it was owned by, I don't know, either Coke or Pepsi's owned it for a while. They discontinued it back in December.
I'm crying.
It was actually a really good cola up here. It wasn't overly sugared, and as such, the kids didn't like it, but the adults did, right?
Man, I gotta
It didn't
tell you,
last.
my favorite obscure cola is RC Cola. You grew up in the South. There's nothing like a cold, crisp RC Coca-Cola. Like
RC Cola is
Dr.
great.
Pepper's not bad.
I grew up with RC Cola because it was the best thing, because you'd look at the pop machine and it would say Coke $1.50, Pepsi $1.50, RC Cola 25 cents,
you're damn right.
and you'd know which one you were picking.
It's cool for the people. Soda for the people.
Anchetto Maladono, RC Cola is the bomb.
Yeah. It's called Kellogg's Kogel, according to Jin. Yeah, I'm not sure. Everything at Kellogg's is a little too bleachy white these days. That could get us trouble right there and then.
Yeah. It's something I don't think I've ever seen in the UK, though, is Tab or RC.
RC was good. RC was like I'm 50, so my father's age, those guys, they liked RC with rum. Like that was that kind of cola, right? Yeah. It was a Bacardi drinker's choice, right?
Oh, I feel like this so gone off the subject at this point.
Yeah.
Beach 8 said RC and a moon pie, Southern delicacy. It just got me thinking about the old man coming out of the freezer in The Simpsons. Moon pie, what a time to be alive.
Man, one day we'll have to have a stream where we talk like obscure regional, sodas and snacks and things like that. Because then I'll bring up the grape soda that we only have in Alabama and Georgia. It's called Grapey-Co.
Chubby Cola. Did anyone drink Chubbies?
What?
The hell?
Yeah. They came in little tiny bottles.
This is my stream. Hey, my stream too.
Yeah. I was just yeah. It sounds like he's talking about stubby beer bottles, like the old, short necks, right?
Yeah.
So, what does everybody think going forward that we should do or not do about these false claims and strikes?
Oh,
More careful.
Right? We got to be a little bit more careful in how we present, but we can't stop doing what we do.
Yeah. It depends. Do you want to sit on the line, or do you want to go over the line and hope you don't get caught?
I live in that world, the latter, that is.
Yeah.
I think sacrificing our firstborns to YouTube would probably solve some problems, but
I only have one. I can't do that.
I have 0, so looks like I'm not
Same.
gonna get anything out of this one.
I don't know if it's, if people are going to do a reporting campaign against you, what are you going to say? They're going to get upset. And they're going to report, and the AI will do what it does. So, Hey, speaking of living on the other side of what YouTube wants you to do, Irish
Son of a bitch. Yeah, son of a bitch showed up. Irish Demon. How you doing? You're muted in mates, buddy. Hold on. You're muted in mates. There we go.
There we go. To quote Napoleon Bonaparte, bonjour, motherfuckers. I'm doing all right. I have to go to the
this is my
doctor.
stream too. Just saying.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Sorry, I fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
God. Every time.
Beep, 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 beep. Okay.
I've had
wander
rent
around
on
instead
my
of the
stream.
Blues
So
Brothers?
what are you gonna do? All right.
Yeah, it should be all right. But I was listening to most of it. I had to go to the doctor just to get a referral letter. That took forever, so that's why I'm about 3 hours late. But yeah, I was listening to most of this stuff, and then I heard the argument about cola. Has anybody had Joel?
I love that our Our soda discussion.
Of everything that was said on the stream, the cola thing
That's the
pisses
most
you off,
important
does
part.
it?
That's the most important part.
We
Golden
could have
Cola.
We could have
Check
sat
it
here
out.
for 2 hours going, you know what? Demon deserved to get demonetized. It's all his fault. Everything his fault.
Like,
and
oh,
he would just
fuck all
sit
that.
there. But
What
then
about
we
the
bring
cola?
up the cola.
That's why I've got to get a piece of this. I've got to get a piece of this cola business. First of all, Red Bull did a cola and it was amazing. And then Pepsi brought out their 100-year anniversary cola, which was the original recipe, and that was amazing. Kosher cola is
It
amazing.
wasn't the
as in
original.
Kosher. It wasn't
Kosher?
original.
Come on.
Hold on, Demon.
Yeah,
Hold on,
they
Demon.
make
Hold
it-
on.
they
Where
make
does
it with,
kosher cola come from? What is this?
Well, if you let
the
the
one with the
Jews
yellow lid.
speak. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true.
They make a special kosher for Passover cola for Coke, and instead of using corn syrup, they'll use like regular cane sugar and stuff. So there are certain traditions of Judaism where they won't eat like corn or rice during Passover instead of just abstaining from like regular yeasted stuff. So they'll get that special Coke with the yellow lid. So if that's where you see like a cap on it, that's where that comes from.
And try it 'cause it's amazing.
And
it's
it is
amazing.
delicious. Real
That's
sugar
awesome.
best.
How
Joel
what is
Cola's epic. Joel Cola's got more caffeine than like a 4-pack of Red Bull. That stuff will send you to the moon. And it tastes great.
To the moon.
It tastes so good.
what
So I'm
what
glad we
is it?
settled all this.
Absolutely, Vishanti. What is it about rice and corn?
The whole halakhic ruling is that because it swells in water, then it qualifies under the broad definition of leavening. So it's usually Ashkenazi, like Eastern European tradition Jews that do that. Although a lot of them did kind of release much less stringent rulings due to the pandemic, where it was harder for people to get out and get supplies like they normally would. So they were like, yeah, you know what? If you're gonna have corn and rice, then it's okay this year. So yeah.
There you go.
But I'm Sephardi. I follow like the Turkish and Spain and Portuguese type tradition where it's like, I'm going to eat corn tortillas. I'm going to have rice. Thank God. I'm going to eat oats. I'm going to eat those and I'm going to love it. You will not take my tacos from me.
Eileen Dover says we abstain from those grains on Pesach.
Yeah, Pesach. Yeah. Very nice.
There you go.
Did you just say piss off like in a way
just gonna
that made
say.
it sound a lot different? You know?
How insensitive can you be, Mr. Dawson?
It's like I only just got here.
He
Shit.
could be more than that.
Yeah, no. I'm just screwing with her. She knows that. It's all right. You know.
Oh, terrible. Right. I'm going to be the adult and I'm going to get us back on track. Nerdangle had a good question, which is perfect timing for Irish Demon being here. Nerdangle says, the Twitter campaigns helping or hurting? Because obviously, Irish, you've had your Twitter stuff. Did you get much back from that? Because as most of us know as creators, it's so much easier to go to a third platform, being a third-party platform, to get any actual response from YouTube.
Absolutely correct. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, and you have to be careful how you approach it, because whenever I mentioned the Twitter campaign to people, I made it very clear. I was like, please do not be disrespectful, because it pushes buttons, and at the end of the day, we don't know. There could be a human behind the computer at the other side. So I'm like, just be respectful. I've worked in customer service. I know how it is to have somebody abuse you on the phone. It fucking sucks. It's okay every once in a while, but when it's like constantly, it sucks. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is you're just going up against a behemoth. You're going up against the most powerful company in the world. They don't care. They quite frankly do not care. And then I saw some other YouTuber, don't recall the name, who had, like 70, 80,000 subs or whatever, had a campaign as well at the same time. And their one had like 50,000 retweets or some shit. And they got no reply either. I think mine has like a couple of hundred retweets or something like that. I mean, it can work. You might get lucky, but the reality is they've made their decision. If somebody with a channel the size of Markiplier, who I got to say, I'm not a fan of Markiplier's channel. It's not the kind of content that I personally like to watch, but I appreciate, him going out of his way to deal with YouTube in that respect with his own videos. But if a channel that big can't get any traction with YouTube, then I don't know what any of us could do. Like in his case, I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier, but he had a video removed from YouTube, which was the SpongeBob SquarePants road rage video. If anybody hasn't seen it, I'm sure it's probably still all over YouTube. Basically, SpongeBob SquarePants gets into it with somebody and a load of other cartoon characters, people dressed as cartoon characters, in a kind of a obviously slapstick way, beat the shit out of each other on the side of the street. And he got nuked for it. And because it was flagged as violence or graphic and violent content. And so he went on a bit of a campaign about that. He got somewhere with it, but he's a big enough channel. I think he's got 5.5 million subs. So he's a big enough channel that he's able to get, he has a direct correspondent in YouTube that he can speak to. So he can just message her and be like, hey, what's going on here? But he said she also has to fight YouTube because she's also up against the algorithm. So it's like, you're fighting a losing battle, really. For some reason now as well, my chat option with YouTube has been removed. So when this all broke, I was able to message YouTube and be like in a chat and be like, hey, what's going on here? And now that option's gone for some unknown reason. I'm not really sure. Yeah. And I wasn't rude. I wasn't being difficult with them. I was just like, look, you need to give me answers. And I said to the guy or computer on the other end, I was like, it is a tenet of natural justice that if you accuse somebody of something, you have to tell them what they've supposedly done. And they said, well, yeah, we've told you that you've breached your terms of service. I was like, okay, but how have I breached your terms of service? Can you point me in the direction of which video, which moment in what video? What did I say? Was it a swear word? And then the only thing I did get back is when I appealed it, they then changed it from being a breach of terms of service to being threatening and abusive harassment or some shit like that. And I was like, can you tell me what, because that's a serious claim to level against somebody. So I was like, you need to tell me who I've harassed, who have I gone after? I was like, I'm not going to lie. I do go after people on my channel, especially when they tell me, and I don't want to say it on the stream because you know what will happen, to, as I said, force myself to take the room temperature challenge, self-permanently nap time. That's, you know what I mean? You have to change the words because otherwise YouTube will will catch up with it. Mm-hmm. But somehow they didn't pick up on his one. And I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Dick mentioned it earlier about the mass flagging of Daniel Pratt's video. And in my video, I made it. Oh, was you? Okay. In my video, I don't know. There was 2 videos, so I'm not sure which one got nuked off the top of my head. But I said it to people. I was like, I've reported it. You can do whatever you want. And I've actually changed my stance on that. But it was enough for. I didn't even need to say anything.
Right.
Just all of my subscribers doing it.
Just the mob of people heading over. If you even on your channel said, I reported it, and the transcript had the word reported, and then amassed a bunch of your viewers go over, and then the bot finds the word reported in your stream, that's enough. I do believe, dude. And
I 100% agree with you.
And Irish, I do understand on a technology basis why you got pointed at, but the other side of the coin is why you got pointed at was pointing out somebody who is so bad it's not funny, and there has to be context involved. This is the problem, isn't it? Is there has to be context, and there isn't, right? If you were somebody with 400,000 subs, you would have a personal YouTube representative. You could call them and you could say blah blah. They would have somebody look at it and go, whoa. But That's not what's happening. And I think instead of us attacking Team YouTube on Twitter and whatnot, I think if we presented a more united front and sort of did the same thing and showed that, okay, this video's fine, but this one isn't, how can that be? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
I agree.
And think of it this way, Demon. If every one of us got together and threw $20 in the hat, how much money do we have for a real attorney?
About $80.
No, we have a lot more than that. Yeah, well, your math really sucks because we could do a lot better than that, right? Yeah.
Because I think you're right. I mean, I know this sounds like really kind of out there, but sometimes it's the only thing to get a bit of traction. A class action lawsuit is the way to go with this kind of thing. If we could find a lawyer out there, I know I could do it in Australia. The majority of my friends are lawyers from my job, but this obviously I assume it has to go through the US. You can't really have a class action in Australia against Google. I don't think it's going to make a difference. But if we had a class action lawsuit against Google, it's not about winning the lawsuit. Let's face it. You're not going to win this lawsuit against the world's biggest most powerful company, but it's going to make them look at it. At the very least, they're going to go, okay, look, we'll take a look at all of these videos. So what we should do, right? I was thinking about this. When you mentioned this earlier, I was sat in the doctor's office thinking about it. I remember
when you told me that, I was like, oh my God, seriously, we have to deal with this because if it's stressing our boys out that bad, shit is, sorry, Toon, this is not cool.
Exactly. And like my life is pretty hectic right now. I've got a lot going on. I'm dealing with a tumor. I'm dealing with moving to a different country during a pandemic with 2 chihuahuas, which is not easy, I can tell you. And this is just an added thing. And the problem is all of that other stress I knew was coming because I initiated it. We made the decision as a couple to move back home to look after my fiance's father. We made a decision as a couple, of course, to bring the dogs with us. I would rather leave her here than the dogs, truth be told. And selling all your shit and your car and all that stuff, it's not easy. But we made that decision. I dropped her off to work the other morning and I get an email that says that my channel's been completely demonetized. And I was like, hold on a sec. So does that mean no? Because let's face it, nobody gives a shit about ad revenue. You get nothing from ad revenue. It's pointless.
You got to be so big that ad revenue matters. It's not funny. But
exactly
when you're dealing with memberships and super chats and stuff, some people don't understand that can be an okay chunk and can really motivate you to get things going, man. Absolutely. Come on, we're talking about some real stuff, Demon, aren't we?
We are. Like all of the super chats and memberships from my channel over the last 3 months, let's say, it hasn't amounted to enough money to buy a fucking Tesla or anything, but it has allowed me to buy a new computer so that I can do better streams. And every penny went into that. So, it is substantial enough. But my view on it is this: when they nuke your channel, I see it as a bit of a coercion tactic. Now, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I think there is an element of it. There was a documentary about the psychological warfare, essentially, between Google and their creators.
That sounds like a psyop, Mr. Demon.
It's not really like big companies do this all the time, where you set unrealistic expectations so that people try harder to make more content. It's like Uber Eats drivers; they go through the exact same bullshit. And it's you just making enough that it's worth doing, but there's a lot of psychology involved. I studied psychology last year. I stopped recently, but and this came up in it, and I found it really interesting being then a very new creator. But what a lot of this boils down to, of course, is money. Now, YouTube make money from your super chats. They make money from your memberships.
30% across the board, baby.
It's crazy. But the reality is where most of YouTube's money comes from worldwide is advertising. So their attitude is, if you don't provide the content that we want you to provide, we will take away your ad revenue. Okay, who gives a shit? It's $2 a video. I don't care. But we will also take away your super chats and memberships. Now, that should make no difference to advertisers whether or not I get super chats, because they're not advertising on my channel anymore.
Actually, Demon, look at it this way real quick. There are razor advertisements that are not meant for your face on YouTube and so on and so forth. Those people would love your channel and the iNetwork because we are a little bit rougher. But if we click that we are doing a video for 18 and over, they will demonetize it on the spot. How does that make sense? How does that even make sense? Right?
It makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, if you are watching my video and you like it, you're sending me a super chat because you appreciate the time, the effort, and everything that goes into a video. That's between me and you, and they're the middleman, and they still get a cut from it. That doesn't affect their advertisers in any way whatsoever. It has nothing to do with Google AdSense. It has nothing to do with advertisers. In my opinion, it's a coercion tactic. We need you to keep creating the content that we want to advertise on, and if you don't do it, we're going to take everything from you. And that's how it appears to me. Now, maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe it's just well, you can't get advertising, so your channel's obviously got issues. We're just going to nuke everything to be safe. It could be that too. In fact, that's probably more likely. But there's an element of both in there, I think. But I was thinking about what we can do. How can we fix this? Realistically, we probably can't, but there are some steps we can take to, at the very least, get this thing looked at. What we need to do, obviously, we have to come together as a community. There's no other way. They say it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to raise a YouTube channel sometimes. You have to have support. And the only thing that we can do, well, one of the ideas anyway, is we compile just a short, simple report, a very short, simple report. Here is a list of videos that were demonetized and channels that were demonetized as a result. Here's the links to those videos so you can see them yourself. Here is a list of videos that we have reported for years and years and years, and nothing is being done about them. The channels are either still monetized or the videos are still up, asking for people to self-permanently nap time themselves. How is that a fair application of the rules? I get it. There's 750,000 hours of video goes on YouTube every day. They can't have their finger in every single pie. I totally understand that. But when you have literally thousands of people reporting a video, how can they not look at a 3-minute Daniel Pratt video?
Demon, look at it this way. Had 5 people reported Pratt, not 70, it actually wouldn't have been a fight between 2 people, and he just would have been called out. Amy's got a couple of super chats and stuff she wants to get in. Let's get her in here quick and see what we can do.
Yes, please. I've got one from, let me see if I can find it because it's getting old now. Let me see. I lost it. There we go. Okay. This one right here.
Fact, Q2 for $2 American, which is us. Joe rocked from Toon. Sorry.
That's okay. No, you're fine. Thank you. And I think that was the only one we had left. So thank you. I appreciate that very much, everybody.
All right. Cool. So this is a big cluster, isn't it? It's a big cluster because, like, in Demon's case, all he did was debunk somebody who was being a real POS, and he becomes the victim because his viewers went and flagged him. And it looks like Demon is now saying, "Go flag him! Go flag him! Go flag him!" And it looks like creator on creator bullying. But it's not, right?
It's not.
But Demon's not LTT, Linus Tech Tips or something that has a personal representative that he can call on the phone and say, "Hey, blah, blah, blah," right? Now, with MC Toon has gets claimed because of the girl's words, and the bot claims, "Oh yeah, well, Toon's video said that, so boom, boom." But when he got to the second review, human review, Toon win. On the second review, Demon doesn't. So that means that the second review from YouTube only looked at your video, Demon, not his. There is no context being put into this. You see what I'm saying? Right?
I agree.
As such, what we need now is a third tier process, because for debunkers, it's not fair if we're debunking somebody who's spewing BS that we get caught in the trap. We're trying to keep people from being caught in the trap. And there is the disconnect. You see what I'm saying? This is the problem right here. Right?
Like if we had a situation whereby I get it, very small channels are going to have no chance. It goes without saying, it's unfortunate. And that's just the way it is. Like my channel, in the grand scheme of things, it's still in the top 2% because the majority of channels have less than 10 subscribers. So it's still in the top 2% or whatever. But there's probably 50, 60, 70,000 channels out there that are 10 times bigger than mine. And but the reality is this, right? If I have a grievance, I understand that YouTube doesn't have, as MC2 was saying, the manpower behind them to be able to deal with everything. But if you were able to have a process whereby you could have a petition system where you have to have, say, 5,000 or 10,000 people petition for YouTube to actually look into the channel, and then they have a designated team that deals with those petitions, then it can be taken serious enough. I've had messages all this week from people saying, please don't stop making videos. I enjoy your videos. They keep me sane during the lockdown. I've been going through hell at the moment. And that's what changed it for me. I was like, I've been there, I am there, and I'm going to fucking stay here. Sorry, MC Tune. Sorry, teacher. I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do. Like a lot of people can say disgusting stuff on their channels and get away with it. MC Tune, for example, was doing disgusting stuff with some wax the other day. I won't get into it right now. I have the soundbite. Yeah. It was pretty horrifying. I'm surprised he didn't get immediately nuked from YouTube for it. But it was pretty bad. But yeah, so it is an unfair application of the rules. They expect us to toe the line, to be very careful what we put out. Essentially, as I parodied in the start of my last video, they want fluffy, nicey things on YouTube. They want to be Netflix. They want, and the reality is, how many of you watching right now watch puppy videos? Maybe once in a blue moon. I can't resist a beautiful Chihuahua puppy video. I can't resist it. Love it. And I hope that person makes $1 million for making Chihuahua puppy videos. But most of us are here to learn. We're here to argue. We're here. No, his cousin Trevor. He's on tour, I think, with Nathan or whatever. Yeah. And like Nathan nearly permanently nap timed him by telling him that because he's allergic to nuts, he should eat cashew nuts to get rid of the allergic. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? You're going to kill that guy. And I know straight from his family that his life has been turned upside down by these people. His life has been ruined by them, and he doesn't see it and he doesn't accept it. And that's on him. But they have ruined this guy's life. I mean, by all accounts, he's religious anyway, but
I think it's a, if you've talked and, watch a little bit of Trevor, I think he's a vulnerable person. Like
very
could be classified as a particular type of person that needs protection from people preying on him. And I agree. He makes him the victim more than just somebody that's generally not smart. I think he really has an issue.
Yes. Yeah. I've spoken to a member of his family and they've confirmed 100%. Like this guy, it's not that he's necessarily being taken advantage of financially. I don't think he's a man of, great means or anything, but he is being taken advantage of and he's being dragged down this rabbit hole. And ultimately, it's going to ruin his life. As I heard earlier, I was listening in the car or whatever. What's going to happen when eventually he's older? This whole thing is a distant memory. And then he goes for a job and they look up his name and up pops all these videos on YouTube. It's going to ruin him. It's going to ruin him, So, and it's horrible.
The allergy thing is interesting. One of my kids has some allergies and we've brought him to a specialist. And what do they do for treatment? They give him a very small amount of what he's allergic to.
Exactly.
And Nathan heard that and is like, hey, go eat some stuff.
Eat a pack of cashews.
Yeah, that's not, no, Nathan.
That's not how that works.
It's not how it works. It's way too much.
It's like I've got really bad hay fever, hence the glasses. So one of the things you can do for that is to eat local honey. Apparently that helps. Yeah. Because it's a small amount of it entering your system and
that helps
whatever.
Me with
I'm not sure how it works.
Allergies, for real.
There you go.
Honey, and it really does.
And if you're not allergic to honey, if eating honey isn't going to make your throat swell up and you hit the ground, worst case scenario, you've had some delicious honey and you've still got hay fever. If you've got a serious nut allergy and you eat a handful of cashew nuts, worst case scenario is you go permanent nap time and there's nothing you can do about it. Nut allergies are not a joke. I mean, they are very serious. But like that's just one example. Who knows what else goes on behind closed tent flaps? You just don't know. It's crazy. I'll be right back. I just gotta get a beverage.
No worries. Well, there's a quick gap. I know Amy's looking to get in there.
Yes.
Amy and Matthew.
Yes, please. We have a super chat from MC Tunes. We have Fohammer335 for US $5. He says, MC Tune has a family-friendly channel, but he has a giant throbbing Mr. Dawson. Sorry, buddy. I wanted to make that joke for a while.
That's awesome.
Reading them.
Sorry.
Fohammer335 for $5. McToon has a family-friendly channel, but has a giant throbbing Mr. Dawson. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. I've wanted to make that joke for a while.
I
From
take it.
Tunes.
That's right. Thank you
Sorry.
so much.
You're fake.
I
You're
take
not
it.
real.
Fohammer's. I take it. Fohammer's found your only friends, then, McToon.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much, Fohammer. That was meant to be a private video, but I guess word has gotten out. Rumors are true. But Irish Demon, probably wins. All right. Next topic.
Well, next topic I think would be after your epic defeat of how many people on the debate shows and whatnot, have you got anybody lined up coming soon that has anything to bring to the table that is new and different? Have you found, first of all, Tune, I'm blown away that you can book these guys, because we're trying to start a debate show right now and I can't get these MFs to step up to save their life. It's killing me. And if I was on my channel only right now, I'd be cursing and swearing like nobody's business. But what do you do? Do you promise like a little tickle here and there? Like, what's the deal?
I tell them I'll send them some puppies. The puppies are it. You know why I don't do a lot of scripted videos? Because the time that it takes to get somebody to agree to a debate takes the time that it would take that I could otherwise do a scripted video for it. So
yes,
it is a challenge, but it helps me that I'm nice, and even generally the flat earthers know that I'm not rude.
So that's my problem.
FDFE has a different tact, right? He's the guy. He's the debater to take down, right? And they watch, and their tiny little, acorn minds are like, oh, I could totally do that, right? Like they think that they could actually present evidence. It's going to be another. It's the same stuff. It's always the same stuff.
I'm still blown away that they think they can step. Like I'm blown away. I'm surprised that he's not like literally streaming a debate once a month at this point, because they won't do it. It blows me away. I don't get it.
It's hubris and Dunning-Kruger. They think they are smarter than everybody else, and they lack the self-awareness, thus the hubris that no, you are making a fool of yourself. I mean, in my chat just a little bit ago, Flat Earth Watertown, New York, who was on my channel earlier, Donnie Lee, came into the chat and he's like, I won. Like, no, you didn't.
I saw it.
You lack self-awareness to realize that you didn't win. Yeah.
I saw the little punk comment. It's hilarious. I'm jealous at the moment because we've got a really good idea with like points and moderators and color commentators and some really cool stuff. I want to go over it with you because I'm basically going to rope you into doing one just because, it'll be good. But it'll be fun. It might actually be a great second simulcast.
I'd be up for that.
Right?
Yeah. So like I was trying Joey Rocha, him.
Oh yeah.
He has he every once in a while will like tag me on Facebook and be like, let's debate. And so I'm like, okay. last Friday. Okay. Nothing. No, I keep sending him messages. I talked to a friend of his who texted him, and in the end, and I was like, maybe tonight, right? Well, in the end, he said it's got to be on somebody else's channel. He wants it on Simon Dan's. I'm like, Joey, you burned the bridge. You burned the bridge with Simon Dan by not showing up. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That ship is your Titanic, Joey. It's over.
Yeah. So
that's the Lusitania. That thing got sunk by underwater nukes. That thing is gone. Hey, can I tell you guys an interesting story about the Lusitania really quickly? I promise it'll be super.
Well, we know you're going to do it, so give it to us.
I'm going to tell you anyway. It's super interesting. I'm going to do a video about it on my new channel, Lost Irishman. I'm working on a few different channel ideas for different types of content to this. Just shoot it out there. I do have my other channel set up, Irish Demon Reloaded. Feel free to go check that out. But anyway, quick, very interesting story about the Lusitania. So the Lusitania was sunk by a German U-boat just off the coast of Cork, which is where I'm from. And get this, right? My fiance's grandfather, I think, or great-grandfather, I think it was grandfather, was the port pilot of Queenstown, as it was known then, where the Titanic had its last voyage from. So he was the port pilot. So he was one of the first people on the scene. The police chief that investigated it was her other grandfather, and this was about 50 years before her parents met. And they were the two most senior officers on that thing, and they didn't know each other. How awesome is that? I just thought that was the weirdest, coolest story.
Wow.
So I'm going to do an interesting story about it. But get this, here's where it takes the weirdest turn ever, right? So about 8 years ago, myself and Jen, my partner, we rented a house in Cove, which is formerly Queenstown, where the Titanic had its last voyage from. And we rented a house up on top of a hill called East Hill, overlooking the port. And it's beautiful up there. Really old house, about 300-400 years old. And we were doing some investigation into it. We wanted to find out some of the history of it. It was the port pilot's house, and her grandfather lived there when he was like 20, when he became the assistant port pilot. And we had no idea. We just happened to move into the house that her grandfather lived in when he was our age. It's just the weirdest coincidence. I thought it was amazing.
That is really cool.
It's a pretty interesting story, right? I was like, that's epic. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I went down the wrong hole.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
As the actress said to the bishop.
I was just going to say, we're trying to keep this clean. Come on now.
Do you want some tab to wash it down?
I really want to try that now because I keep seeing you. It's going to get to the point where eventually there'll just be finger-shaped wear marks on the can. Yeah, you'll just have to keep slowly turning it around until
somehow it tastes.
Yeah, but
just like water.
It's not as bad as savoring a 6-month-old bag of ketchup chips. What the heck was that about?
1 year. Thank you very much. I got them right.
Oh yeah, where's my bag of ketchup chips?
You've got to be kidding me, Tim. You do not have that bag of mold beside you. Come on.
Hold on. I got it. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Look at that. That's a year old. That's a year old from I'm done eating them. They're the smell.
Oh, go on.
March.
No, don't do it.
2020.
Yeah.
Punchy handed me this bag March 11th last year.
Wow.
There you go.
That's crazy.
I last had one right on the anniversary.
I'm Canadian and I won't eat that garbage. What the heck was up with that? You know, what are you doing?
Punchy loves it.
They're terrible, don't you think? Aren't they awful?
Yeah,
I love ketchup chips, man.
I did not like them. I got a cat just handed to me.
Hello, kitty. So, copy. One thing I want to say before we finish about claims and whatnot and strikes is, I have uncovered a very sneaky music copyright claim. thing that's going on, eh, Kevin? That thing that we've just uncovered with that one jerk off that's been doing a few of the claims and whatnot with us. And myself and OK Boomer from Blackrod are planning a stream for next week, and we're going to go into a deep dive into a music scam that's going on YouTube right now, and it is not cool at all. It's basically it's kind of mob level extortion, to be honest. It's that bad.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that. That is going to be interesting. This is something that, you know, not just that, but also our own issues as creators. This is something that we as a community, as the greater YouTube community, not just us, but right across the board, we need to push this. We need to fight against this.
Yes.
Because with the lockdowns right now, people are watching YouTube at unprecedented levels because people don't have anything to do. And we as a community need to keep it sweet, keep it good. So I'm going to set up a petition today, and I'm going to share. We'll try to get as many on it.
Demon, I got an idea. Why don't we all start a Discord server that is the @Team YouTube Unified Front, and we can put screenshots in it, and we can collect the information, and we can present a unified position.
Absolutely. I'm 100% on board with that. And then we can put together a change.org and put together a big file, all the videos that have been deleted for whatever reason. And let's do it.
Yes.
At the very least, let's just try to get some attention from it.
Yes.
That's all we need is a bit of closure.
Right. And we've got people on our side like OPT Lawyer and stuff. He's a great friend of the iNetwork and stuff. Like, you know, if we put our we had Professor Dave Explains on the channel a couple of weeks ago. You know, maybe he wants to weigh in because he's a debunker, right? We've had Hyeth on the channel and whatnot. Let's get these people in and let's produce a unified front that says enough. You've got to fix this because we are not the bad guys.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Action going. If we could get a class action lawsuit going, I know it sounds super dramatic. It probably won't go anywhere, but it's just if you have a class action lawsuit, they have to look at it. They can't just ignore it.
Demon, how many debunkers are in this position and people that do reaction videos and stuff? Hundreds. If everybody threw $20 in the pot, we have Johnny Cochran on our side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know?
Damn right. If the video don't fit, you guys know the rest. We've got to do it, guys. We've got to, because if we can talk about it on here all day long and it'll go nowhere. I think if we can set up a Discord server, now I will just say I am useless at Discord. Anybody who's tried to contact me there will know that. I'm really bad at Discord, but I'll do my best.
I'll open the Discord after this stream. I'll invite you, Toon, and so on. And then from there, we'll get more invites out and we'll start it. And we'll call it the @Team YouTube server. I'm there in a heartbeat, man. I'll be waiting. And I'll set up a petition. I'll get a petition going today, and we'll try to get this thing on the road. At the very least, just to get it to a state where people are aware of it. Our viewers are all aware of it, but maybe other people are not quite. Maybe, you know. So we'll do what we can do. And if we get lucky enough to get one of the bigger YouTubers on board, I wouldn't directly necessarily ask somebody. And the reason being is I don't want to put anybody in an awkward position. No. But if we just get one of them, But all you have to do is inform them of the situation. If you get one, maybe two, and then a few more, and then a few more, right? Amy Hogan has her hand up because we have somebody that needs to be shouted out.
Yes, please. Another one from Fohammer335 for US $5. Get a hold of Arch Warhammer. He will make this go viral. And that was from Tunes.
I'm going to look that person up right now.
Yes.
Good show. Good show.
Thank you.
I'll make a video asking Arch Warhammer directly. Oh, well, maybe not, because I don't want to put them in an awkward position, but I'll try to reach out for sure. I've seen a few of his videos before, actually. Now that I just opened his YouTube, I have seen a few of them. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. It's the only thing we can talk about it all day long. But if you don't do anything, you're just pissing in the wind, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And we already know you don't piss in the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim.
Exactly.
Jim Crochet song tune. Come on, you should know that one.
I should. Is it metal?
God damn it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It could be that I'm only 13 and you're like 87.
Yeah, well, no. Jim Crochet's like a Bob Dylan kind of guy. He's a beatnik with an acoustic guitar. Yeah.
Well, why would you think I would know that music?
Well,
there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
No words out of you there. Oh, people.
Asshat.
In the chat, who do I like? Type out some of the bands that I like. In the chat. There we go.
You're the worst rapper in the world of YouTube. So how am I supposed to know you only,
I don't like rap.
Little known fact, MC Toon is the world's biggest K-pop fan.
I would listen to K-pop before I listen to Beatnik with an acoustic guitar.
Oh, no, you would like come on, Jim Crochet is amazing. He's really cool. Don't you dare do that. I'm going to educate you later.
Did he do a thing with Isaac Guillory? It's similar kind of music. I know. I'm not sure. I'm sure. I feel like he did something with Isaac Guillory, but because the name rings a bell. He's the car wash guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure he did I think he did a single with Isaac Guillory that didn't go anywhere, but MC Toon wouldn't know because he's literally only into K-pop. So.
Yeah, we're talking 70s style, right, and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of acoustic finger style.
Yeah. Operator, would you help me make this call and all that? That's that guy. Exactly. Anyway, Toon.
I have to recognize. I asked for people to put what I like in the chat, and one person nailed it. Angel Gamer said One Bed Pig, Tourniquet, and Megadeth. Absolutely. I have one tattoo.
You have one tattoo. I literally just wrote in the chat what your tattoo is. I said MC Toon has an EXO tattoo on his bum.
This is not. I don't know what EXO is, but
yes, you do. K-pop. We've all seen the tattoo on your own.
Neither my bum nor EXO. So there you go. Nickelback.
Amy, do you need it again here? Amy Hogan.
Yes, please, if I could. We have Rodent Known Last Name made a suggestion earlier about unions. And
yes, I saw his comment about that on my video. I got to check that out, actually. Sorry, Pedro. Go on.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's about YouTube labor unions and like making something that we all can use as a bargaining tool with YouTube about all these things that are happening.
That'd be
so
awesome.
that's
I think starting a server and starting an actual coalition of people that actually give a rat's ass about this is the first step towards that.
Agreed. 100% agree. I'm there.
So we're going to start this tomorrow. We're going to actually start it tonight in the background, but we're going to actually bring it to the public tomorrow. I'll get in touch with Demon, the plot hole, Toon. We'll spread it through the ranks as fast as we can, but we are going to start a unified thing where we can speak as one voice that carries many.
Sounds great, man. Sounds
great. I like it.
MC2 might be able to get in touch with his friend Chad Kroger. That's what the tattoo. For those of you who aren't watching, who are just listening, MC2 has a Chad Kroger tattoo on his arm. So if you can get in touch with him, he's got at least from Nickelback. He's got at least four fans. One of which is MC2.
Okay.
So that's
I'm ending this stream right now. This is not happening. I'm Canadian, and I will not have this.
I have no idea.
You're a prick. You're a prick, Demon. That's dirty pool, buddy. That's dirty pool.
Look at this photograph. I cracked myself up too much. But yeah, man, I'm on board 100%.
Let's do it. Tune, is it getting late for you? You still good? What's up here, dude?
I'm good.
All right.
Late. I got.
Well,
I wanted to debate Joey Rocha an hour and a half from now.
I want to debate Rad Vlad. Rad Vlad's talking big chat in the side chat. He said that my mustache looks like two black slugs squaring up for a fight. Cool story from a guy who looks like a literal slug, but
is he?
Let's do it.
Where's Rad Vlad?
Rad Vlad, you have been avoiding me like the plague for months now. You've said that you would debate me. You never do. Just drop me an email. I gotta say, right, all jokes aside, I like Rad Vlad. I think he's fun. He can be a bit mean sometimes, but he's not a bad dude. I think he's actually a pretty chill dude. So Rad Vlad, email me, irishdemonvids@gmail.com, and let's set up a debate for someday this week whenever you're free. And actually, how about not a debate? How about we just have you on for a chat? Just a chat.
Yeah.
No adversarial stuff.
But Demon, it comes down to this. Rad Vlad, you got to crap or get off the pot, man. You got to pick one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Agreed.
Yeah, speaking of that, Gary Wybenga continues to show up, and he's going to get the Vicky treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Gary, you talk a lot of nonsense. You copy-paste a lot of garbage. Bring it. We will test more garbage. We will test it.
Hell, I'll debate him. And I'm not even a debater. I'm a terrible debater because I get sidetracked, believe it or not.
Demon,
so I'll debate him.
Your toe jam could debate Gary Wybenga.
Damn right.
Yes.
Just for the record, I don't have any toes, so they're like two big shovels, two big shovel feet. Just so everybody knows.
It's because he's a reptile.
There's not a big gene pool where I come from. Put it that way. Yeah, but yeah, I'm down. Let's get this thing roll. I've got to get out of here soon though, because I got to go to another appointment in 20 minutes. Thankfully, it's literally across the road from my house, so it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, I've got to get out of here pretty soon. But let's do this, guys. I'm down. We need to have our voices heard, and not just ours as creators, but the viewers too, because it affects what they see, and it's not fair on them either. Oh, you're muted, Dicko.
Sorry, damn it. My button keeps pushing away and I try to hit it and I don't hit it hard enough and it gets worse and worse. The little stream deck keeps moving on me tonight, right?
I thought we were trying to keep this clean.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking? Is we could do a once a month stream from the Discord server about the issues. And we could do it as a group and talk about how it's affected us and our friends and stuff each month.
Absolutely.
Because that would keep bringing people into the fold and keep awareness going, right? And, keep a grassroots approach to this going. Right.
Absolutely. And if one person in the community shares it with a friend and says, okay, look, I know you're not into the debunking stuff, but here's a serious issue. You like YouTube. If you like watching gaming streams or if you like watching, like what I like to watch, and this is what I watch, is people making stuff out of wood. Mrs. Demon says I'm like a real life Ron from Parks and Recreation. I like to watch people make nice things out of wood. And I've seen some of those videos get nuked, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Right?
Because one guy, he's a creator. He's awesome. He does Viking camping. There's a few people that do it, and he said something about somebody called him out, and I can't remember what it was. It was something pretty silly, and in my opinion, he shouldn't have even wasted his time responding to it. But he did, and he got nuked for it. Like 280,000 subscribers just gone instantly. And he never got it back. He had to restart, went through his Discord or whatever, and he's back to about 80,000 subscribers now, but he lost everything.
That's a massive difference, man. That's huge. Like for views, for monetization and stuff, that's massive too.
Huge. That's huge.
That's the thing. Somebody like that can, that is their career for a lot of.
Oh yeah.
That's all they do. And to have it just gone for something that's just, in Minnesota, we're an at will state, right? So you can be fired at any time for any reason. You can quit at any time for any reason. You don't need to give notice. But that doesn't mean that that's how employers actually act, right? If somebody's having an issue, they go talk to them. This is their career.
Yeah.
This isn't,
and you're not going to lose a good employee over like a few days of what the heck's going on here. You're going to go and say, "Hey, dude, what's up?"
You wouldn't put firing an employee in charge of under the charge of software.
Yeah,
and when somebody has their entire rice bowl is this, no, that's disgusting.
It's devastating.
Yeah,
it is.
It's not just if they're doing, somebody does something, absolute yes, right? There are things that people do that are over the top, but you don't get to 200 and something thousand by being disgusting, right? But it's just to be so frivolous and to just, you're gone. Nah. You sit them down, you call them up, you say, "Look, these things in particular, boom, 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 boom. If you're going to continue doing them, we're going to have a problem. If you're not, it was a misunderstanding. I did not intend to do it. Let's take the video down, remove that part."
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's great. Let's do it.
That's all I wanted. If YouTube had messaged me and said, "Okay, look, here's the issue. We watched this video, or the algorithm watched this video. We think that you were targeting this particular person for flagging. What's your response?" And I say, "Look, here's what happened." If they say, "Okay, we still think that you should take the video down. Please take the video down, and we'll have no further problems. Don't do it again." Cool. I'm good with that. I accept it's your platform. You don't want the video on there. I'll remove the video. I'm cool with that. But to just nuke it and then take monetization away with no warning, that's where I'm like, dude, I said it to somebody the other day. Can you imagine spending your whole life or, a few years or whatever studying, you find the job you've always wanted, and you go in the morning, your swipe card doesn't work to get into the building. Nobody tells you why. You just get an email that says, "Sorry, you're fired." Why? No reason. Or here's the reason. Okay, well, I didn't do that. Oh, well, tough shit, you're gone. You know what I mean? It's like that. And I know in the States, in some states, that can be the case. And it's fucking awful, man. Sorry for swearing. It's fluffing awful.
It's I think maybe a better analogy would be to bring it to criminal law, right? So you're charged with a crime. You're going to go to jail. I'm sorry. What was the crime? It was a crime. But
it doesn't matter.
Could you be more specific? Oh, you did some bad things. Oh, well, can I appeal? Yes, go ahead. Then I appeal, and here's why. Nah, going to jail anyway. That's what it is.
Exactly. It's actually very like the criminal system in Japan and in China as well. And Korea, I think, is very, very similar. They have a 99.999% conviction rate. When you're accused of something in those countries, you are going to jail or you will be found guilty. I've worked in the court system now for years and I'm studying law again, so I have a good insight to it. And over here, you have it's a bit different here the way it works, but here we have summary justice and then you have the full-on criminal justice system, jury trials, etc. But it's a standard across all of humanity, regardless of if it's a private platform, at law, or just in the family, in the home. Everybody has a natural want or a desire to know when they've done something wrong. And if they're accused of something, to be able to deal with that. If you've done it and you admit it, or if you've done it and you've been proven to be wrong, then fine. But it's a tenet of natural justice. And that's not just at law, that's across the board. If I'm walking down the street and there's a smell and somebody goes, "You farted," I'm like, "No, I didn't." You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's in the shopping center where somebody goes, "You stole my shopping cart," or if it's on YouTube, "You made a shitty video," or if it's on at law, you were speeding. No, I wasn't. Etc. It's a tenet of natural justice. Everybody has you've got no right to natural justice. Unfortunately, people can make accusations and they stick, and sometimes that's just life. There's nothing you can do about it, but you still want to fight against it if you know that you've done nothing wrong, and you should be allowed to in any scenario. But unfortunately, you can't police everything. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's my TED Talk.
There you go. So,
well,
where are we at?
Well, we're at a crossroads here where we know there's something that's going to have to be done to make sure that debunking can be protected and not looked at as the purveyor of woo, right? And we need to know that if, somebody like, let's say Toon here has a video next month and he has, let's say he does a premiere and he has 190 people watch the premiere and 70 of those people decide to go and flag his victim's video because it's peddling woo that's dangerous, right? Yeah. Does that put him in the dangerous position? I submit to you that it damn well could. So we were talking earlier. Now, I only got so much more time and I'm producing the show, so I know I'm the asshole here. But I do have to get back to some parenting soon. But what I want to put forth to all the creators out there that watch this right now is fair use does not dictate that you have to put the original video link in your description. Don't put it there. Do not put it there because it gives people a vector to go to their video and flag it. And as such, they came from your channel. Yeah. What you need to do is you need to get together with your other fellow creators like Toon, Demon, myself, Kevin Kennedy, and so on, right? And spread it through the back end that we have found a video that needs to be flagged. We'll do it through Discord. And then the traffic doesn't lead to anybody, and YouTube has to take it at face value and act accordingly. This is what we're going to have to do going forward. We have to keep the traffic from coming from our own places. Right?
That's a good point.
Right? So we're going to have to do this properly, to everybody watching on Toon's channel and the iNetwork. When we all do a video debunking people, please don't run from our videos to go and flag it. Do it later on when you have 30 minutes to sit back and have a glass of wine and laugh. But do it later and check with our Discord link, our channels, because we will have a spot to make sure you know where those links are. But we'll do it appropriately in the background because we cannot be seen as bullies because we're actually trying to take down conspiracists, right? And we're going to have to play the game. We're gonna have to.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm also just gonna make, before we go, because I've got to go in like 2 minutes, but quick prediction. I predict that in the next week or so, we are going to see videos from Nathan Thompson arguing with people about whether or not he can bring his dog into shopping centers and stores. I just sent you a picture, Dick. He's now got a service dog vest on his emaciated.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Mark my words, we are going to see
it's coming
videos of it's a service dog, bro. It's because he's got nothing left. He's got nothing left. He needs to fight with people. I guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee it.
You know what, Demon? I give you 100% props on that. Good call, man. You found the next one. 100%. Absolutely.
Yep. 100%. Let's keep our eyes peeled. I guarantee.
I love it. I love it. So, Kevin Kennedy, thoughts and wrap-ups on the night and the evening. What do you think, man? That was some pretty heavy stuff, right?
Yeah. Overall, I got nothing. I don't know. I mean, this is the reason I've been transitioning to pure science videos, is because YouTube is making it so hard to have an opinion on anything ever. And it's getting kind of ridiculous. It's hard to deal with. On funnier notes, a man found 2 shrimp tails in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then General Mills tried to tell him it wasn't shrimp tails. It was the funniest thing in the world.
That is pretty funny.
So, as you can all tell, Kevin's a Twitter addict. Yeah. Let's bring Amy and Matt in. What do you guys think? We've got an uphill world to climb right now, don't we?
We actually do. And And I just noticed something else tonight too. They added a new thing to videos because Matt is very prolific in his videos. He posts a lot.
Yeah.
Now they're doing this checks complete when they're processing his videos. And then it says checks complete, no issues found. That's a new thing that they're adding too. So I'm not sure if they're adding something automatic to check every single video that goes up. That could it is crazy, and it could become a problem down the road. And I do see an issue of, like Kevin said, I wanted to address that too, about how you can't really have an opinion. It's almost like they're almost like they're really stifling free speech. And it's, I understand why they don't allow some, but like he said, it's becoming so that you can't say anything and you get dinged. So that's kind of an issue too. So, but other than that, it was a great evening. I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you on both chats. Thank you all for coming in the super chats. We had fun reading.
Yeah.
Matt said the fake news.
And the fake news, exactly. And I really want to thank everybody on both channels for coming and experiencing this cool simulcast experience. We teamed up with MC Toon. We got the Toon Warrior Army here on force. We've got the iNetwork Shills Army on force. We've had a great time fleshing this out and really hashing it down to what it is. So I bid you all adieu for the night, and I give the last word to Mr. MC Toon.
Well, thank you very much, Dick Dawson, for producing this, putting this together. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for the support. I'll support. Send it to Irish Demon. He needs more than I do for sure. So thank you to Irish Demon who's on here tonight as well.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. These streams keep me sane. It's good to have somebody other than Mrs. Demon to vent to, because she's probably sick of hearing YouTube talk. She's got a really stressful job, so she doesn't need to hear me whinging about YouTube. But I've really got to run because I've got about 2 minutes to get across the road. So I've got to nail it right now. And I'll catch you all later. I look forward to the Discord, and let's get this ball rolling. Thank you all so much. And
I'll PM you later, buddy.
Sounds great, guys. You have a good one. Take care, guys.
All right, we'll see you. And all right, that wraps it up for us. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you to Super Chatters. And even though I told you not to, appreciate the people that Super Chat on my channel. Fohammer did another one asking Rad Vlad about AK mags. So
all right.
All right.
Send us out, Toon. Take it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later. Good night.
Good night, everybody.